Phoenix Down Radio is on the air. With your hosts,
Klauss Nightbringer,
Seyrr,
Chille,
and Luna Vox.
Welcome everybody to Phoenix Down Radio, episode number 85. How's everybody doing on this wonderful holiday time, I guess? Weekend.
I am dry aging a prime rib in the fridge right now.
Yeah,
I'm eating snacks.
The present that my parents did not realize they were giving me is that I get to cook Christmas dinner.
Is that
I want that present.
Or is that punishment for you?
Dude, have you seen how I go on about cooking? Do you want me to tell you all about how I'm dry aging the prime rib?
Seyrr, that sounds like the best Christmas ever.
Yep. We're also baked potatoes and green beans almondine. It should be nice.
Lovely.
I would be surprised if you've gone round and replaced all the bad jokes in the crackers with lore segments.
Oh my gosh, I wish Christmas crackers were things around here.
And now, amazingly, it's not just Chille and Seyrr joining us. We have special guests. From the podcast Gather Together, we have Rubicon, Vale, and Yelta Sumasu. Welcome, guys.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us. And I want to extend a thank you to you guys for having me on a couple weeks ago. That was an amazing episode.
It's like a podcast 69. So, you know,
Oh my God.
we appreciate it.
Oh, my. But no, I the way it sounded, it was actually a pretty well-received episode by all your listeners as well. I saw a lot of people commenting that they really enjoyed it.
I got a lot of mail, mainly about my opinions on certain things. So I have like an extended episode for the next one about certain opinions that I have.
You
but
have
no,
lots of opinions, don't you?
Wait, how was
tend
mine
to have
taken then? How was mine when I was on yours a while back? I remember around when Fantasy 12 Remaster launched.
Oh, that's
Good
right.
times.
Yeah. No, it was a very good episode. Thank you for appearing, and we have to have the whole clan and Chille. You have to come back as well. Lava Scorpion.
Praise Lava Scorpion.
Racing.
Also, Ruby, it's been confirmed that you hack, apparently.
Yes,
Okay.
my
Actually,
brother.
maybe not necessarily
Okay.
you, but it was your wife, I think, that hacked
Well, I
for
mean,
you.
Sort of. I don't want to like get me, in any trouble or something. She's quicker at the keyboard than I am.
Yes.
I feel like there's an accomplice liability thing going on here.
But no,
Yeah,
it's not
let's keep
hack.
this on the DL.
No, it wasn't a hack. Congratulations. That you are a lucky bastard.
Yes, several have won. Didn't you win in the past, sir?
I've won twice.
Yeah, exactly.
So-
it's-
For those who weren't paying attention, what happened?
Go ahead.
Okay.
I'm confused.
so, of course, duty commenced. The most recent episode, they were drawing prizes, and 12 prizes were won. I think 3 of each set, and the 11th name was drawn, and it was mine. So I got the little, what's the name of it? Masha something.
Mama
The Inu.
Shiba.
Yeah, Mashiba. The doggo. So I've got a doggo coming to me, which of course
Aw.
will go to my son, and he'll slobber all over it
Uh,
and beat it up.
I think my free company leader was saying that he won one of the Fat Chocobo lamps.
Yes, Frank also
that a
did
thing?
win. Yep. 'Cause I thought
Yeah.
that was him.
I wish they did that more in England because I haven't seen a single UK stream in so long.
I thought they
That's
did it every couple
unfortunate.
of months.
Oh, they do more the PvP ones over there, don't
Yeah.
they? Is that the ones
Yeah,
that
we
you
only
guys
really
usually
get- Yeah, we only get PvP.
Hmm.
We don't actually get something like Duty Commands. We just get like a PvP stream.
But they give away
Which,
stuff
yeah.
on those as well, don't they?
Yeah, but it's PvP. I don't want to watch that.
Well, that's why you just kind of have it in the background, and then when you see that they're doing the giveaway thing, you just pay attention. It's like, ooh,
I'd feel bad though.
piece of
I'd
candy.
wanna
Ooh, Chille hacks.
just throw anything but PvP. It could be a stream about them running circles. I'd still watch that more.
thought that's what PvP was.
Yeah.
Occasionally, you take a break from the running in circles to straight up murder a dude.
Yeah, or just die. That's what I do.
I just wait for my wait for my respawn counter to count down. That's what I do.
And then you do the gold dance for a little while at the home base, and then you run out and die again, right?
Yeah, just like Savage.
PvP
Maybe
in a nutshell.
role play a pacifist. See how much you can confuse people before they murder you.
Oh my gosh.
I've actually done that.
Excellent. How'd it go?
I did a PvP run where it's before they blocked stuff. I used to just run up to people and give them hugs.
Oh.
Okay.
Hello, sir. Can I tell you about our Lord and Savior Lava Scorpion?
And the hug immediately got worse.
But no, like I said, the ladies did an amazing job. It was basically a fan fest overview again. They went over everything they actually did some of the challenge roulette things within the stream as well on the Leviathan server.
Cool.
So they did a good job. They gave away a lot of cool things. Ruby and Frank won, that was very cool of them.
Also, probably some other people, but we don't know them, so they don't count.
Exactly.
Right. The best part was
Congratulations to those that won. Though.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But and it was a good time. And then we also had a live letter yesterday morning, which we will be talking about later on in the podcast.
Really? I thought we were just going to ignore that.
As usual, people lost their shirt.
Without the R.
Wait.
Yeah, as a concession to my dad's dislike for swearing, I do good playstyle swearing while I'm here.
All I'm going to say is I was still in bed, so I didn't have the shirt.
Ooh,
Cannot lose it.
Oh my.
Tell me more.
Go on.
So what have you guys been up to in-game? Anything fun? Whoever wants to start, go right ahead.
I barely logged in for the last 2 weeks. The holidays have kept me really busy. As much as I enjoy this time of year, I am kind of looking forward to the bit of January where everything calms down a little bit.
I can understand
By calms down, you mean patch?
I think he means real life.
Why not both?
I mean, that's the hope, right? That the patch launches and you have nothing else going on to do.
Exactly. So I can actually focus on it.
I did a little bit of Machinist. I'm still trying to get my Machinist going before Blue Mage launches. So I ran the Vault. Had a nice group. I think we had a new healer in there. They only boffed up the second fight, but they did really well on the last fight. And of course, I got to hear, the normal stuff like sickness must be purged and
sickness must be purged.
Like
the
Vault. The Vault always felt really cruel for healers.
It is. It's a tough part for healers. Yeah.
See, I just want to always tell him to get down with the sickness. To get up.
See, I also want to say that, in my opinion, before the changes, Brayflox was also really bad for most healers as well.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, especially if you were a scholar.
A scholar, yeah, because you didn't have a Suna.
Yeah. I remember Spender was very gripey about that.
Yeah.
How about you, Yelta? What have you been up to?
I did a map party, and we weren't you there, Ruby?
I was there. Yes.
Okay, Ruby can't remember what he did yesterday.
No, I was there because you all blamed me for the bad luck that we had
right.
because I won the stupid dog.
Oh, congratulations.
Jeez, Ruby, why'd you wreck it for everyone else? I don't know what you did, but why'd you wreck it?
No, you don't know. You don't even know. Every time we have a map party that Ruby doesn't come, we get to the 7th floor, we make millions of gil and good stuff drops, and then Ruby shows up and portals don't even open, and we get our 18th pile of ginkgo leaves. And...
Story of my life.
Ruby, you're the same person because that happens to me every time I do maps as well.
You lose so badly that it just takes away a map from someone else in the party.
No, we had a good time though. Brock, our good friend Brock, he started up the party, and he's in different link shows for making map parties and stuff, and he's real good at filling them. So we did that for about an hour or so. It was only on one map each party, but that was fun anyhow. It got me logged in, and then today I actually noticed my husband was laying dead in Eureka Animos at level 17, and I'm like, well, at level 17, honey, because he likes to solo. I'm like, I can come play with you. So we went and finished up his. We went and finished up his challenge log for the week.
Very nice.
And that he finished his quests. We had to do some fates so we could get the rest of his crystals. So he got to 20, and he even unlocked not Pyros. The one that shall not be named because it
the
sucks
bad place.
a bad place. Right. So we went into the bad place and did that first bunny fate and got bunnies, and then he died horribly twice, and then we were done with it. But I was really happy because my husband, he likes to solo. He's usually lagging behind content, but and there's almost no way to help someone who's a friend of yours in there. Yeah, you could probably do a fate party, but he doesn't like being carried either, right?
Yeah.
So that made it hard. But now he was level 17 to 20, and I could go in there and not really power level him, but we could play together and get something done.
Remind me, which data center are you guys on? Because you did remind me that I actually did a couple challenge logs and got to 19.
This one.
Oh, nice. Yeah, we're on this one. We're on Primal.
Well then.
Yeah.
We should run together sometime. I think
I would be down for
I
it.
saw Eureka once. Remember when Animos first came out, we did a bit of a group together.
Yeah, that's one of those things that's better with friends, but without a level sync, it's really hard to play together.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Bring level sync.
Right? I'm hoping
And man, if someone goes, if someone in your group goes and levels a couple things, it's like watching ahead on a Netflix series without telling the other people.
Mm-hmm. It is.
Yeah.
That's the worst.
Indeed. Grounds for divorce.
Actually, I have a coworker who refuses to watch ahead because his wife will kill him if he watches too far ahead of her in a show.
Damn right.
And
I'm not saying that people should be murdered for that. I'm just saying no reasonable jury would convict.
Well, if they refuse to watch it for years,
okay,
there should be a statute of limitations there as to how long they will not watch.
I think it would be reasonable to be hey, honey, it's been this long. I really want to do this. If we either need to make a plan to start this in the next 2 weeks, or I'm going to start on it.
Right.
That's what we do, honestly. I've been married for 21 years. And yep. He just says, hey, do you want to watch this or not? I want to watch it. And I'll be like, nope. And he's like, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yep. And
that's doing it right.
I actually did some stuff in Eureka as well. I finally got my Pyros weapon for my Red Mage.
Yay.
Ooh. Oh, nice.
It's super shiny, and I don't know if I really want to show it off right now, but
he showed it to me. It's great.
Quick question. Did we make the are we making weapons inadvisably sentient again?
Not as so far. In fact, the storyline's really boring. It's I'll enhance it, and then you give him some crystals and he enhances it.
And then he gives you a tea kettle and says, "Here, go get some aether in there."
See, if he gives me the tea kettle, I'll just run off and go, yes, a tea kettle!
Finally!
Make tea.
Yeah.
We've waited so long, Chille. That tea kettle worries me. I don't want to drink anything that came out of it. It looks like it has gone subcritical.
It's like the one from Omega. It's oh, you really want to drink something that comes out of that?
Just boil it twice, you'll be fine.
Oh, and we can see which one's British.
I like the blow it twice part.
Oh, no.
So, other than that, it's kind of another special day, as people have been alluding to. Yes, today is my birthday.
I did stuff too.
Happy birthday, Alkmorn!
Happy birthday.
Chille, I'm sorry, Chille. I thought we got to you. Thought you were. Never mind. What are you up to, man? What have you been up to?
Not much really, to be honest. Our DPS for my static isn't going to be back until February.
Oh wow! They extended now, huh?
Yeah, and our tank has got a new job a month ago, so his hours are a bit iffy. So this week we've actually had to pug 09 and 010S for some reason took us forever, and then we two-shotted 011S, which scared us. So
that's kind of weird to have that much trouble with the early ones and then take on 11, which has been.
I want to tell you now, 010S is harder than 11.
I've heard that.
Yeah,
interesting.
010S, the snapshots seem a lot. Where the game pictures you for the attacks seem to be a lot more unforgiving than 011. 011, really, the only things that are tough is the I'd say the second Panther phase and starboard and larboard. but only when they go only in the corner, because that confuses me. Because at one point where you got to take him over to the corner, and that means they're both reversed because he's facing the opposite direction. So you've got to remember that you're going to the opposite side that you normally would.
Yeah, it definitely feels like a your other left type of situation a lot with that.
Yeah, I died a lot to that in normal, so.
But with Surge mode, he has no cast time for the second ability.
Ooh. So yeah, you better have that positioning spot on.
Yep.
Yeah. But he always does one side, then the other side. So, one side, then that same side again, sorry. So you know as soon as he hits it, you got to run through.
Okay.
Right.
As I said, it's very less random than normal mode. So I would actually say Savage is easier, just once you've actually learned it. Yeah. So yeah, now I'm a 398 monk.
Congrats.
Thank you.
What else?
We were going to try O12S, but we were down 2 DPS in a tank. So
you guys have? I thought you cleared that already.
No, we've never cleared 12. We've only cleared 11.
Okay.
So we're going to try it, but then our DPS and tank went there, so we did Sasano X, and we had a Pug Samurai, and I know we're not allowed to talk about DPS numbers, but it hurt my soul. It was 370 plus. I'm not going to say names because, I don't even remember his name.
We don't want a witch hunt.
But he was 370 plus samurai. Okay, he's 370 plus samurai with like a 380 weapon. And he, in his opener, it's just hurting just to say this. He pulled 1.1k.
Ouch.
Can't you do that with auto attack?
I could do that with White Mage without even trying.
White Mage was doing 2.4.
Yeah.
So this came up. Someone in one of the discords I'm in referred to this, an old Reddit post where someone actually calculated out the numbers for a black mage who was being an ice mage DPS. And so that samurai was outperformed by the quote-unquote rotation 5 of only casting Blizzard 3.
There you go.
Like, only casting Blizzard 3 still would have outdamaged that guy.
I mean, I don't mind bad players, but when you pull in damage that low, it just...
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Interesting corollary from that one. Apparently, the whole thing about always be casting or always be doing something is true. Even if what you're doing is super low, the gains you get from just not standing there, whatever, matter. Which was fascinating.
Keep your global cooldowns on cooldown. Keep them rolling.
Yep.
No, I'll admit, I will hold internal release sometimes because it's normally like 2 or 3 seconds before my other buffs. So I'll hold it for a second and then pop it.
I mean, quite frankly, if you're not using any of your buffs or cooldowns or whatever, but you're continuing to punch every time it's up, you're still doing better.
I mean, it's understandable if you're going to hold it for just a couple of seconds because you're going to overall improve the DPS of...
Oh, yeah, because I'd have internal release plus Riddle of Fire plus Brotherhood, so...
The percentage over that 15 seconds is going to outweigh the potential loss you'd have had at that 2 seconds you held it. So,
I know the answer to the riddle. Fire is hot.
Fire is hot.
Fire bad. Fire
burn.
bad.
Burn.
Oh, and I've also renamed my character. I don't know if anyone noticed.
I noticed. I just wasn't quite sure what it meant. And it felt rude.
Well, that's the name of my wife. So.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, I can't see it on
her
stream,
name.
But yeah, I did notice that.
I changed to her surname so she didn't have to take mine.
You didn't want her to go full weeb?
No, I liked her name more.
True love. It's a pretty name.
Chille's very progressive.
So my most darling is the Lalafell I married on Hyperion. She's sweet.
Oh.
All right, so
wait, the Lalafell you married on Hyperion. Do you have marriages on multiple servers? Are you a bigamist?
I'm married on Ultros.
No, he's a Lalafell.
I'm married to Ultros to Sophie. Chiniko Little Chin. And then I'm marrying Paul on Gilgamesh next year.
So, polygamist.
No, he's a Lalafell. He's not very big. All right, let's go ahead and
Are we
move
going to
on.
hear a documentary about you and your sister-wife compounds?
I don't think Paul would like you calling him a sister wife.
And a brother,
Well,
sister
he
wives and a
might.
brother wife.
And
Oh dear. So,
it all goes downhill from here.
moving on. Moving on. There were a couple of articles out this week. First one I want to talk about is an MMORPG.com interview with Oda-san and Ishikawa talking about lore, and I figured this one was right up Seyrr's alley.
Congrats on episode 85. Chille
They
is a
did mention that it was an
whore, will cook
in-house
the wedding
interviewer,
eggs
which I know
One
a lot.
second.
Oh, sorry.
Kane, thank you so much for that sub. I just wanted to make sure to let everybody know that he says Chille is a whore and Seyrr will cook the wedding eggs Benedict.
I sure am.
Oh my God! You want me to cater a wedding? Do you know what's involved in that?
At least eggs Benedict.
He just wants you to cook those.
Yes.
Cooking for a crowd is harder than cooking for. Like, I can do home cooking, but you want it for a crowd? That requires completely different methods.
Maybe it'll be a small wedding.
Yeah, maybe it'll be a small wedding. Maybe like a reception.
That means buffet style. As long as you invite under 6 or fewer people, bride included, then we're okay.
But what if you're the head chef and you can boss people around?
Completely different skill set. I should not be bossing people around. I don't know what I'm doing.
Well, we can get Talaz involved and help you out.
I
Yeah, there we
don't.
go.
I should not have power. I know better than that.
Anyway, let's go ahead and continue on with this Ishikawa and Oda-san article. Let's see, I had that pulled up here somewhere. Have you guys had a chance to read through it at all?
Yep.
I know Seyrr read it because he loves reading those types of things. How about Ruby, Yelta, and Chille?
No, I'm a noob to this one. I want to hear.
Yeah,
I want
I've
to hear
heard about
their
this one.
opinion on it.
So, I mean, a lot of it was not necessarily, oh, hey, here's these secret tidbits about the story. And like, it's more about the challenges of trying to create an engaging story, trying to have something that's going to work in with the gameplay, a lot of the other stuff like that. So for people who are looking for details to improve a character, there may not be as much of what they want in it. It's a bit more about like the design process, which is still pretty fascinating in its own right.
I mean, when you look at how a game world is designed, I mean, that's a really detailed process, and to get a behind the scenes on that's not something we get very often.
Yep. Like one of the questions talked about the challenges involved in writing a story where there's not really going to be an end to it.
Yeah, creating a sense of continuity between each expansion without making it seem unfamiliar yet somewhat different. So I mean, you get that sense of newness with the patch or with the expansion, but you know, it's still the same game.
Right. Or other things, like another one that I thought was interesting to look at is pacing in story being such an important thing. How you handle that in a setting where the player might decide, okay, yeah, I'm done for tonight. Now I'm going to go run some roulettes and then race chocobos. Like having the player have a lot more agency in what they can do and to take a break from it does make a lot of those pacing challenges harder.
I'll go ahead and link that in the Twitch chat. This will also be linked in the show notes for those of you guys listening out on the podcast.
Yeah, definitely a treasure for people who like to look under the hood at what's going on in actually developing and creating this stuff. But again, if you're looking more for like interesting facts and tidbits about the world of Final Fantasy XIV and about Eorzea, it may not quite be what you're looking for. Yeah. That said, I think it's still worth a read.
Yeah, there was.
So it's more about the process and things they had to think about to do it, not specifics on.
Most definitely.
Yeah, because there was another interview done by Gamer Escape at FanFest where they got to sit down with Koji Fox, and they talked a little bit more about some of the actual in-game things. Ruby and Yelta, you talked about that in the last episode of Gather Together.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And I didn't get a chance to read through all of that, but I did like your guys' take on that. So, I mean, if you guys want to hear about that article, go listen to Gather Together at gtffxiv.com. Nice plug.
Nice plug.
I sure taught you well. I sure taught you well, Klauss.
Yes, you did. I'm trying to see if there's any other really interesting questions that they ask here in this MMORPG article. one that they come up with is, how difficult is it to strike a balance between making a fantasy world that makes sense, but is also wildly fantastical without being unbelievable? And this one, Oda answered. He said it's important to maintain certain rules. For example, drawing a line between what can and cannot be done with magic, having conditions to use, etc., even with it being fantasy. But it can be hard to share those rules amongst all of the many staff members. With a project like Final Fantasy XIV, in which there are so many staff, it can be especially tricky to get everyone on the same page.
Mm-hmm. I think that was a kind of dig, like at the interview that we were talking about with Koji, where they said that sometimes the lore team has to pick up the pieces for things that Yoshida and the rest of the devs just kind of put into the game. So they have to make things work. So I feel like that's a kind way of Oda saying, like, sometimes we have to make things work lore-wise.
Yeah, that was actually kind of a funny point that Koji had made on that. But no, like I said, this was a really interesting article. I do recommend you guys check it out if you're interested. MMORPG has done some pretty good articles in the Final Fantasy realm. And another one that I wanted to bring up was one I haven't heard people talking about, from Massively Overpowered. Now this one is, the writer is talking about how Final Fantasy XIV's reliability with its how it releases things, it isn't necessarily a bad thing. And Ruby, unfortunately, I'll fix that for you.
Testing.
You're here. Did we
Good.
lose you for a second?
Yes, the microphone arm on the headset just went fully. Fortunately, I have my phone here, so I can continue to talk. This thing was a bit old and battered. It was coming eventually.
Sorry, Klauss. The reason I banned myself from the chat is if you don't put the www in front of it, for whatever reason, it's boring.
Oh. I did the same thing.
So me and Yelta are banned.
We're banned, but that's all
from
right.
the channel. It's worth it. It's worth it.
Our site's down.
Dear.
We have to fix that, or tell Google to fix it.
No, actually, it's PinionBot that's doing it.
No, it's okay.
There, I fixed it.
We got the message out. It's fine.
But anyway, so what the Elia Lefevre, he has a regular article that he writes, Wisdom of Nim, on Massively Overpowered. I think did I get the link out there?
Yes, you did. Or you got it under our notes.
Yeah, I put it out into the Twitch as well.
Yep.
He hears a lot of people criticizing the fact that Final Fantasy XIV is basically doing the same things for all of their patches.
Like he mentions stuff like the fact that there's this new tombstone. You will be able to get 450 of it a week. You will have these many dungeons, a bunch of other things like that.
Mm-hmm.
That even with a lot of the new content, there are a lot of aspects that are somewhat repetitive, though he described it in somewhat different terms.
Yep. Now, he agrees with the criticism of that, but he doesn't really believe that it's a problem. He's basically saying that it's a matter of perspective, like you said.
Yeah. The term he used was reliability, and made points that oftentimes a lot of people who are saying, oh, it's repetitive, that oftentimes there seems to be an expectation that change for change's sake is a good thing, and wondering if that necessarily applies to the MMO setting here.
Now, and like I said, in a lot of ways, I agree that having a specific set of what's the word I want here? Getting content in a regularly paced time frame and knowing kind of what to expect when you get a new patch. I agree. It's not necessarily a bad thing. Knowing that we're going to be getting new dungeons, new tomes, new raids, it's great. So we have something to look forward to. I think where people are getting upset with it is the fact that we're not getting a lot of new stuff on top of that. I think that, having the reliable, the good old new dungeons and raids, we should have that as a staple, but we should be getting something in addition to that as well.
Yeah, I want to actually read a little bit from the article because there's an analogy he made that I thought was rather spot on.
Okay.
So imagine for a moment that you have a lifetime subscription to your favorite restaurant. so long as you always order the same dish. In fact, let's assume it works like Five Guys. For those listeners who are not familiar with it, Five Guys is a hamburger chain.
And go there because it's delicious.
The fries are awesome.
Oh yeah,
Can't eat at Five Guys.
yeah, because they have peanuts there, and Chille is deathly allergic.
Well, they all cook in. All the food is cooked in peanut oil.
Yeah, that.
Yeah.
Too.
Let's assume it works like Five Guys, in that there are lots of variants on it, but it's still the same basic meal every time. If you like that hamburger, you can cycle through lots of variants each subsequent night, and it'll keep you fed each time, but eventually you'll start to get tired of the hamburger. It's not that the hamburger got worse, it's that you've been having it every night for a long while, and eventually having something really good presented on a regular basis makes you analyze the small failings all that more closely. You start to feel like it must be the restaurant's fault, instead of thinking that maybe you just need to take a little break, go have some salad or some tacos or whatever, and come back to your favorite burger place after you have some space. But it doesn't mean that there's something bad about the burger place. It doesn't mean that it should be serving tacos. It just means, like, sometimes you need a different meal. It's human nature.
Agreed.
That actually is a good point.
Yeah,
I was looking at this kind of with Dragon Quest eyes, because I'm a big time Dragon Quest player and I love Dragon Quest. And Dragon Quest a lot of times really, they use the same formula over and over, and it's great and it adds familiarity. But Dragon Quest doesn't come like every month. There's not a new Dragon Quest game every year. So it gives you enough space in between to get hungry for it again. And then when it comes, it's that nice, familiar thing. And I was also thinking with the restaurant idea that they've got, it's kind of like McDonald's. Like McRib is back. McRib is not always there. And I'm not saying McRib is great, but a lot of people really like the McRib. And when McRib comes back,
it is a secret shame guilty pleasure of mine.
See? And so people will slink with their, overcoat and hat on and say, "Give me the McRib, please. Don't tell anybody I was here."
It's been like 4 years since we last had it.
I just need a McRib for my poor old granny. She loves them.
It's for the kids. And me too.
The kids that I don't really like.
So people want variety to that degree, but they don't want the same thing all the time. So I guess that's the balance that 14 has to have. There are familiar things like the dungeons and the way that we get our tomestones and things, but then we have some oddball stuff that they throw in or they rotate through. And I think when they fine-tune that formula, you're going to keep enough players happy to do those things. You're always going to have outliers that complain, "Oh, it's the same old stuff." But when you do the same things over and over and over, that's when you're going to say, "Well, this doesn't taste as good anymore." I agree with the article.
Well, and I used, what did I use before? I used a cupcake analogy where we're always getting the same chocolate cupcakes, just sometimes with different colored sprinkles, right? Occasionally I might want a blueberry muffin. It'd be something the same shape, approximately the same size, but something kind of different. And no, I don't want steak. I still want it in my Final Fantasy 14 MMO. Yeah, if I want steak or a salad, I'll go somewhere else. I play many other games because there's not enough to keep me focused on 14. But I'm also 43 years old. I played old school MMOs where you could play 6 hours a night and still not get everything you want done every week.
Oh God, don't even
remind
me.
And maybe those days are gone, and that's fine. But there are people who have spare time on their hands, and they can really run out of all the content that they're able to do, right? I'm not good enough to do some things or interested in, right? So you can see where, week after or month after month, week after week, you do get this. I do appreciate, however, knowing what I'm going to get each patch. I know I'm going to get story. I know I'm going to get quality of life. I know I'm going to get one dungeon, then I'm going to get a 24-man. I like knowing that what I'm going to get, and I'm going to get in a regular basis. I don't have to wonder. WoW players, we wonder forever, are we ever getting any updates? Right? When are right? Because it was like just huge content droughts in between. I think most of us were complaining, same old. It's not really that the same old is a problem. It's just occasionally I need a piece of cheesecake. I don't always want that cupcake. Give me some cheesecake also. Yeah.
Right. And this game will reliably provide you with the hamburger or the cupcake or whatever it is we're using in this metaphor. But if you do want something different, this doesn't mean that the game needs to be offering other stuff, but maybe go somewhere else for a little bit and then come back when you're ready for more burgers or cupcakes or I totally lost track of what food item we're even using here.
I don't know. I just want burgers now.
We're all starving now.
I'll take some nuggets, thank you.
Ooh, is Guardian just Ruby?
Why not?
I still like my suggestion of maybe having a guest director for a patch to give Yoshi a break.
Or a piece of content or something. It doesn't have to be the whole patch, but I could see, you know.
They did
business
that.
logistics-wise, that could be complicated. Patches have long development cycles.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they did that with the
Garo event.
Yeah, as well as they had a guest doing the entire Ivalice raid.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, I mean, so they have done that, and you know, so they brought other people in to help out, you know, to try and give their hamburger a little bit more flavor, or you know, just maybe they added a different item on top of it, or maybe they seasoned it slightly differently. But
Needed more bacon.
Yeah, maybe they added some bacon to it. You know.
Yeah. No, you're not
going to believe a food podcast.
You're not going to believe it.
Podcast now.
I mean,
it's always Food Squad. If you're in Norfolka's bosom for any amount of time, it becomes Food Squad.
Same with any sufficiently long conversation with me.
Yeah.
And also Moogle go around. And Maps from
Pretty
Radio.
Much gets back to food.
Yeah.
It's kind of like this is some basic activity that we need for survival, and we try to at least make it pleasurable.
And yet we don't have tacos in the game.
Still no tacos. Taco party.
What?
We've been asking for tacos for
Hashtag
5 years.
tacos are riot.
Tacos.
I mean, you might have a better shot at it if we do end up going to the New World, just because you'd be bringing in some of the like a quasi-Mexican culture. Might they do that? Anyways.
All right.
Koji Fox did say the word taco.
Yes.
At FanFest.
Didn't he say it a couple of years ago as well?
I don't remember.
Yes, but he also said with the word New World.
Yeah.
And that's
it's
depressing.
There you go. We'll go to the New World, though.
Yeah.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
All right. And then
I mean, they've at least planned stuff for it before. They had the mention about like Meryl Wibb's adventures over there and things like that.
I really hope we get it's Tabnasian tacos.
But cool. Tavnazia isn't even a place here.
Well, we can get Thavnarian.
That would work.
Well, no, even if it doesn't matter if it's not a place. It could just be named after someone who made it called that.
We all know the New World is Vanadiel anyway, so.
But the article, I get what he's saying with the criticism is that it's too consistent. But honestly, though, if you have the same thing all the time for dinner, you're gonna get bored.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the criticism.
And it doesn't mean that the thing itself is bad. You just need some variety in your diet.
Doesn't mean it's broken, but
yeah.
All right. And then the last little bit we'll talk about here in the gaming community news is we haven't had a gotcha roundup in a little while. So Seyrr, you want to talk a little bit about some of the Final Fantasy mobile games with us?
Sure. So pretty much no surprise for this time of year. They're all in the midst of their holiday events. Like every single one. Final Fantasy Record Keeper is having their countdown to the Feast of Glory. The first of their 3 one-day-only lucky draw banners dropped today, this one featuring Legend Materia Relics. We do know that the upcoming things in the Feast of Glory will include the usual free 33 pull, a batch of specialty banners, each featuring, in this case, new USBs, including a lot of those fun Brave USBs, which Global does have that exclusive buff for, which is pretty fun. Our Brave USBs start at level 2, where the Japanese ones only start at level 1. Also going to have lots of the usual special battle events, little reward dungeons with lots of fun stuff. The central one is going to feature a special battle based on swordsmen throughout the Final Fantasy series. And I believe our Transcendent battle is going to be a Bahamut one that apparently gets broken wide open if you have any of Galif's invincibility stuff. Apparently it wrecks the AI something fierce.
Lovely.
Yep. Dissidia just brought out its 3rd batch of level 60 awakenings with the accompanying Twilight Menace event, as well as X weapons for Tidus and Cecil.
How many of you gotten now, Seyrr?
3, I think.
Of the X weapons?
Yes.
You got. I know you're right now. You're using Terra's as your.
Yeah, and then I do have Noctis and Cloud.
Okay, so you haven't gotten the new ones yet.
No, I did a couple pulls because Squall's 35 weapon is kind of my white whale, and I continue to not get it.
Yeah, that's me and the Terra one right now.
Yeah. But so they are continuing to unlock more characters. They're having another one of those events where the entire community's work does go to unlock lots of different rewards. So lots of good results from that. Those high shards needed to unlock those awakenings are becoming more and more freely available. So if you've been thinking that this isn't something you can't do yet, there's lots of rewards that they're giving out for that. We are going to have Selphie's highly anticipated event coming soon. Both Selphie herself was a very powerful character in the Japanese meta, and I believe Squall's X weapon comes in at that time.
It's all about selfies.
Yeah. Selphie, no filter. Wait, what?
I like trains.
I actually like singing her train song. I tried to make up my own version of it at some point. And then we'll have Ash's Lost Chapters, a New Year's event, and the Gilgamesh event coming up in the near future.
Yay, gotta love Greg.
Indeed. For Mobius, the Christmas event Messengers of Hope 2018 just launched as of last night. That one's only sticking around until the end of the year, so you don't have as much of the usual, hey, you've got lots of extra time to clear this event. Usually it's a very simple event, so just it's going to be something that even newer players are going to be able to access. You just want to make sure to take the time to actually spend the tickets you get from it. Their Season 2, Act 2 Warrior of Despair has also launched. They did introduce a new character, Sophie, as well as a complete revamp of the battle system. It does play very differently now. The new one actually feels a bit more active and engaged. It has your actions interspersed with the enemy actions, so there's a lot more of a strategic element, as well as new ways to access additional cards from your extra job, your secondary job that you set, a special effect called the Mobius Zone, where under certain circumstances you can trigger a very strong burst of power for a little bit. Definitely it's shaken up the way that you play it a bit. It's a lot harder to just auto through things, but the new one is actually a little more strategic and interesting, which I appreciate. And the FF7 collaboration that they're repeating, they did this time include a new batch of powerful Genova cards, which a lot of people have been excited for. And then Brave Exvius, honestly, I've barely been paying attention to that one. I know they've got that Katy Perry event, and I'm pretty sure they've got some holiday event going on, but honestly, beyond that, I don't really know right now.
So, Ruby and Yelta, do you guys play any of the mobile games?
I don't like mobile games. Can I say that? I'm not trying to be. I've tried to play some of these. I was going to ask, like, what's the most fun out of these? Because I downloaded one of them. Maybe it was Brave Exvius at one time, and I kind of goofed with it for a minute, and then I just kind of was like, well, okay, I forgot about this. Because I don't know. I spend a lot of time playing console games. I play my Switch quite often. I play PS4. I play, of course, Final Fantasy 14. And I have this, I guess, weird opinion that when I play a mobile game, it doesn't feel like a real game. And then I'm like, I need some time in the real world. I have to be in the real world at some point. I can't always have a device going on. So that's kind of my, I guess, my personal opinion. I guess if there was something really engaging, I would spend more time in it. But I don't really like the feeling of pulling a slot machine handle and losing. And I feel like a lot of these games, once they get you hooked, you're like, gimme, no, gimme, no. And then I feel really bad about myself.
There's definitely a lot of them where they try to encourage that, in part because that is the way that they actually make their income. So it is a good thing to be able to actually take a break from the devices. I do certainly enjoy having something to play if I need to pass some time, though I know that, especially with the number that I do play, oftentimes it feels like it can end up consuming a lot of my time. So very mature on your part, I have to say.
I guess. I don't know.
Ruby?
Call me mature. I don't know if that
what?
It's allowed. It's allowed.
Though, I mean, if I were to recommend one of those games, at this point, I'd probably recommend Dissidia.
Yeah, either Dissidia or maybe Mobius, depending on the style of things you go for. Those are the ones that I feel like are a little deeper in some ways.
Mobius, the nice thing about that one is you can actually play that on Steam. So you can actually play it on your PC if you want. And I would actually recommend if you're going to try it, actually play it there because it takes up a lot of room on your phone otherwise.
I would honestly play something that had, I guess maybe I felt like I was doing more, and maybe now like the add-ons or the changes like you were talking about with which one of it here was changed? Mobius, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah, they had their second season, so they've got new stuff for the battle system.
So, like if it's more engaging to me, like I think if there was a Theat rhythm, but it was a gotcha, but it allowed me to like hit things, but it gave me bonuses based on what, like I could see myself doing something like that more. So maybe the Dissidia is more like that. Maybe Mobius has more engaging mechanics.
Yeah, the Dissidia one is a turn-based one. If you're looking for something that's a bit more active.
Turn-based. I like kind of like I played Record Keeper and I felt like I was actually working my way through chapters or something. I don't know how long that lasts, but that was kind of fun. I didn't really feel like I had to spend money either.
Some of them are better about it than others. It can be a bit of a crapshoot, which I guess is appropriate for a thing with a gambling mechanic.
Well, and you know what I do with most of those games is I actually decide if I like this game. If I was, let's pretend I was paying a subscription for this game, what would I spend a month? And then that's about what that's how I make it work in my head. Is I'm like, well, if I would spend $10 a month on this, if it was a subscription game, I will go ahead and whatever. But so some maybe I can do that, but I would rather buy a one-time unlock or the occasional something. Games that require me to buy in-game currency to actually feel like I'm progressing, I can't do it.
Yeah.
For me, I play the Dragon Ball games, not the Final Fantasy games. And for me, I only like spend money when everything's on stupid sale.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Like they have like next week for Christmas, they're gonna have the 90 stone pack reduced to the same price as the 30 stone pack, which will then be cut in half. So instead of being, I think it's $40, it's going to be $7.
And there's definitely some of them where like they are playing with the perception, and like a lot of them they know like people will wait for the sale, so sometimes the pricing is designed with that in mind.
So I'll pay that $7.
Oh, go ahead.
So I'll pay that $7, but then I won't buy any more until the next sale, which will be like 3 months later. So.
Well, the ones that like pressure you with the buy it now or it's gone forever unique stuff, I usually skip those too.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, oh, I can spend $5 now and get this card, or Animal Crossing, I had to quit the mobile game because it was like, I love Animal Crossing to death, but they made it feel like if I didn't buy fertilizers and if I did, I could play all day, every day and still not get everything done. It felt like, and not get, whoever's telescope and whoever's KK's chair and whatever. And it's like, oh, these things are going away.
Yeah, it's the whole Farmville kind of feel.
That fear of missing out can be vicious.
Yeah, that's a trap for me.
So I hate how lucky I am because I am lucky and unlucky at these games. It's like I've got a lot of the rarest units you can pull, but I can't make the best teams because I can't pull the common units.
Oof.
Yeah. It's like, oh, look, you've got all these rare, but I can't make the team because I keep pulling those rare units and they don't work together.
Yeah, a team of all rares is not actually that great a thing in some of these games.
If there's no synergy,
Yeah.
All right, shall we continue
The other thing... Oh, okay, yeah.
Sorry, Seyrr, but
I was going to mention one other thing, but actually it's not super important. We'll skip it. We've got a lot to cover tonight.
Yeah, we do. Otherwise, like I said, we're more happy to talk about it, but we have a lot to talk about, and that being Live Letter 48.
Now, there was a live letter?
This is the first I heard of this. I've never heard of these such things.
I was so excited to wake up and watch the trailer.
I'm surprised we actually got a trailer this early.
Well, it's only in 2 weeks.
I'd have been mad if there wasn't.
Yeah, I would have. I would have been mad if there wasn't.
A lot of times, I thought the trailers came out a week beforehand.
Normally, but you got to remember that chances are they probably got this almost ready for next week.
I suppose they
if it wasn't the fact that.
Yeah,
if it wasn't the fact that New Year's was around the same time.
Yeah.
Well, didn't they BOF 4.4 and didn't have the trailer ready for that one? So we can't do that again.
That's true.
Just remember all the times the players started a riot and don't do what you did then.
I said I
was
really
already crabbing. Sorry.
I really think that patch 4.5 is probably already almost ready. It's just that they don't want to release it on New Year's because that's such a big holiday in Japan.
And I want to start out by thanking the subreddit, the Mega Thread, as well as Gamer Escape for the information that we.
I always want to thank Gamer Escape.
They did actually a really nice write-up on this. I'm linking both of them in the Twitch chat as well.
Thank you, Fusion X, for being amazing.
It'll be in the show notes as well. But those two, like I said, I did not get up at 5 in the morning to watch this yesterday. So
what I'm hearing is that you're not a true fan.
No.
However, we're defining that today.
No,
Oh my God,
what
I
you're hearing
used
is I
to.
wanted to sleep in on my day off.
How selfish.
All right. So
Somehow.
as I said, we did get a trailer. I will link it for those who are interested in seeing it. And
The best trailer
actually,
they've ever done.
I'm gonna go ahead and link the patch 4.5 website because the trailer is right at the beginning. So
And that's part of why I thought I was going to be mad if there wasn't a trailer, because they had the slot for the trailer that was empty.
coming
And I'm
soon.
like, don't do it. Give us
They
a
had to
trailer.
fill that slot.
Mhm.
Please.
Phrasing.
We're not doing phrasing
He
anymore.
Yeah, you can hear him. He's practically begging for it.
All right. So we did get a release date confirmed of January 8th.
I think we all guessed that, really.
Yeah.
I was surprised how many of us were right. There was a lot of people from different areas that had guessed that, and I'm like,
Yeah. Whereas
I mean,
always... Okay.
No, go ahead, Chille.
It's always 2 weeks after the live layer, pretty much, that it goes live. The only reason why it's 3 weeks is because of the fact that it's New Year's.
Yeah, if it had been 2 weeks, it would have been New Year's Day.
Yep.
Yeah.
And New Year's, like we said, is a very important holiday in Japan.
I said
so.
it could have been possible just because the fact that they might have wanted to drop it while people were still on holiday, but I doubted it.
I mean, but this also means you have to convince people to work on that holiday.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's a big ask.
All right. So
To say extra money.
with 4.5, they actually gave us a kind of a timeline as to when a number of things are going to be released, because there is a lot in patch 4.5. I mean, this is probably one of the biggest patches that we've seen in any of the expansions. So they told us that Blue Mage is going to be released a week after the patch, so that will be on the 15th. And then they gave us a timeline for patch 4.55, which will be sometime in February, and that's when they're going to release the new Eureka Hydatos. Story Part 2 is going to come in patch 4.56, as well as the final bit of Hildebrand quests and the Unison Beast Tribe quest.
Yay. I was hoping they would do that.
Yes, that's one of my
they
favorite
always
parts.
have a unified one. It gives me life.
4.57 is when we're going to get the data center expansion and world visit functionality. So late March, early April, we're going to be able to actually go visit each other on the different servers.
You'll be able to come for shows, and you won't have to have us make out an outfit for you ahead of time.
I won't look like a demented Santa Claus when I come visit for another episode. Yes.
Or if
I'm
you do,
wearing my-
Well, now I'm disappointed.
I'm wearing
If
my
you
account
do, if
wide.
you- yeah. If you do look like a demented Santa Claus, it'll be because you chose to.
Yes. And then they also said that there may be even up 4.58. But they didn't really
That's
specify
exciting stuff.
what
Yeah,
was gonna
that's
come
a
on
that's
that.
longer patch cycle than they've ever had before, right? That's more.
Yeah.
I mean,
Mhm.
we're looking at 6+ months on this patch. Because we go from January 8th until sometime in end of June to possibly early July until we get Shadowbringers.
Well, I'd say end of July, probably.
I don't think
Middle
we're going to
July.
go that far.
I'm guessing around the 20th.
What did they tell us? Early summer? What was
Yeah.
the?
Yeah, early summer.
Oh, July
don't-
would be well into summer, even.
I don't think you can go
Yeah.
into August for sure for that.
That's
Yeah.
halfway to fall.
If they're saying early summer, I would guess tail end of June.
Well,
Mhm.
actually, summer starts in June, though, at the tail
Yeah.
end of it.
In terms of like astronomical things, yes, but people don't think of it based on that. They usually think of it based on the month names.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
people think June, July, August is summer, even though technically there's more summer in September than in June.
True, but that'll give them their leg room. Like when they bust it out in July, they're going to be like, but technically the 21st of June.
Well, technically speaking, yesterday was the first day of winter in North America, but it's been snowing.
Yeah, my nipples have been hard for a while, so.
The more you know.
It was like 70 degrees here today.
Oh my goodness! I'll probably die there in the summer then.
Crazy Ex-Girlfriend has a song called California Christmas Time that is distressingly accurate.
I did Christmas in Florida once. It was warm and weird.
Yeah.
I did Christmas in Texas once. That was interesting.
Odd.
It also snowed for some reason.
It's odd here, yes.
It's snowing in game, man. That's all I care about.
And it's kind of nice.
I'm sad that someone suggested something, and I wish they'd done it now. Someone suggested that they should have just put ice on some of the swimming areas in the towns.
Actually, I have seen that requested, and I think that would be kind of cool to be able to do a like a skate emote.
Skating would be awesome. They also need to do something with Ishgard in the summer, in the winter. That just seems like a missed opportunity.
Well, maybe in 5 points, whatever, when we're rebuilding Ishgard.
We're rebuilding it. Yeah, I was hoping for
Which
that.
I predicted the day before, as Klauss knows. Remember Klauss at the place? Oh, no, it wasn't Klauss.
But
who was it?
I mean, with Ishgard housing areas, maybe instead of swimming areas, they can have like a little skating rink.
Skating areas.
Oh.
I really thought they were going to have us fix up Idleshire, the area outside of Idleshire. I really thought we were going to be improving that would change, but I can be wrong, apparently.
Yeah. I mean, given that Idleshire has already gone through so much development, this is something that we get to have a bit more of our fingerprints on, I think.
Yeah, that would be nice.
All right. So a lot of the stuff that they talked about was already kind of mentioned in some of the previous live letters and at FanFest. So let's talk about some of the things that were brand new. They showed off, let's go into the Gold Saucer updates. Now, they showed off Air Force One. I guess.
Which is cool.
I guess the max score you can get is going to be 5,000.
It looked cool, but I really was surprised it wasn't like more like a Disney ride and had more character, or like outside the Gold Saucer, or I don't know.
Well, that was how it was in the original 7, where it went round the outside of the Gold Saucer.
Yeah.
Well.
Yes, the Speed Square.
But it still looks very cool, and I'll probably try it.
And then they announced the other piece of content that's going to be coming. It's not Blitzball, guys. It's Mahjong.
Good, because
and it's not snowboarding either, because that was teased as well.
I was so surprised it wasn't snowboarding, honestly.
Yes, but I figured if they had the on-rails thing already for Air Force One,
we didn't really need another
be like that.
And we didn't need another race right this minute.
So who knows how to play Mahjong?
I have played it online.
So someone posted a thing. You can see on Google Trends, there is a spike in searches for how to play Mahjong that coincides with when that was announced in the live letter.
Minutes after the live letter, what is Mahjong? How do you, most Americans, I don't know about anyone else, but most Americans have not played multiplayer Mahjong. They played the bastardized solo version, which I enjoy quite honestly. I like the solo where you take away the things about you, where you have like 4 people playing, you line up the tiles, you pick them and place them. That's new to a lot of people.
And you're having all the tricky stuff of you're trying to complete your set or not set down the things that someone else needs. Like, I feel like I need a wrinkly old Hong Kong lady glamour now.
Yeah.
Well, for those that want to do practice this type of Mahjong before it comes out, I do recommend to go play the Yakuza games.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
actually, they do have it in those, don't they?
Well, there's also about 18,000 different rule sets. Well, I take it. There's like 80 different rule sets of Mahjong. I don't know which one we're going to get with this. So I don't know what to...
I just want a chance to recommend the Yakuza games because they're amazing.
Well, it is supposed to be based off of a Japanese version of it, so...
Yeah.
Were you saying something?
Check out Yakuza.
I would say, you thought the random rule in Triple Triad was bad.
Oh God, we better not have to know multiple rule sets because I've read the mahjong books. I have a mahjong set, like a physical set, but I've been too like scared to even try to learn it. I've like read 3 books about it, and I've gone to multiple websites, and I'm like,
what do these symbols mean?
Well, here's your opportunity.
I've never played before. How long does a traditional game with a normal rule set take?
It's fast. I think it is fast. I think it's pretty. And in fact, they said that this is going to be scored on speed, so which scared me. But it also is going to have multiple like beginner. It's going to have different rankings too. So I'm hoping that the beginner ranking is really a beginner's ranking.
I did just do a quick search. I found a Board Game Geek thread where people were asking about it. The traditional game takes about 15 minutes per hand. With fast players, you can do it easily in 10 minutes per hand. If you play a full game, which is 4 hands per wind for 4 wins, you're looking at about 3 to 4 hours. But that would be playing like sort of a complete tournament-ish type thing.
Yeah.
Well, and I bet you money we're doing 1 hand at a time.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I would bet you we're doing with fairly simple rules.
Well, I can dig that. That's fine with me. Will this lead to other games? Can we play dominoes? Because I will beat everybody here at some bones.
Well, the thing sounded like Yoshi P played Red Dead Redemption or whatever.
Yeah.
Played a lot of poker, but that doesn't work. Apparently,
because you can't have poker in.
There's gambling laws.
Well, even but you can play. But mahjong is gambled on. I mean, whatever. But I mean, you can play. I play poker without gambling.
It's like a cruise ship. Out in the middle of the Mediterranean or somewhere where there's like international laws.
It's Europe,
no rules.
really.
I mean, the laws don't say you can't play games. The laws frequently say you can't play this particular game because that's the one that the people writing the laws associate with gambling.
Associate with poker. Okay.
Like, do you guys remember in Pokemon Red and Blue, it used to have the slot machines?
Yep.
Well, Final Fantasy games have had slot machines, you know.
But then Europe passed a law where slot machines aren't allowed to be put into children's games. Hence why all the remakes removed the slot machines.
Down with the EU. Wait, never mind.
They're working on it.
Well, we'll have a second like war with you guys soon. Hang on.
All right. They also talked about some of the new MGP prizes, including
which Klauss can buy because he's got crazy amounts of MGP.
I do. I really do. They showed off a Senior Sabatender mount, which is supposed to be more expensive than Fenrir.
Yeah.
Well, Fenrir was $1 million, right?
Yep.
I have a Fenrir, and that's cool. But after they upped all of the prizes, because right now you can make without hardly even trying in a week crazy amounts of MGP. So the question came up: are you going to have some more expensive things to buy? And the answer was yes. So this is probably the answer to that. When are we getting?
What's that? Sorry.
No, we already had the Make It Rain campaign for this year, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So, I don't know.
That's how I was able to afford Fenrir. I did that for almost 12 hours a day.
Oh, jeez. I did a few.
One of my favorites.
I did a few. If you're not doing your weekly fashion report, because basically you can go in with whatever you're wearing and get 10K a week for nothing.
With small amounts of effort, you can get like 80K.
Oh yeah, and we're talking super. You bring up the subreddit thread, you look in there, and you're like, oh, if I can like add 1 or 2 things that are already in my inventory, I can get see whatever. Is it?
Yeah, they've made it
easy now.
Surprisingly accessible.
Yeah, it's.
Then I go to the market board and think, oh, I have to spend gil and then turn away.
No, do not spend gil. You can.
Many of them are craftable with minimal effort.
I don't craft. Crafting is confusing.
You have friends that craft, don't you?
I do. Before they made that easy, I remember one week I had decided I'm going to hit that maximum score and get all of my achievements, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it was something that you had to have the culinary relic skillet and all this other stuff. Yeah, and you had to have the coloring also.
Mm-hmm.
I spent the entire week cooking and gathering shit to cook. I did get the score, but it cost me so much money.
Yelta, I did the exact same thing that exact same week.
Oh no, really?
Yep.
That's amazing.
Well,
I could probably do this. It's crafting.
Well, I just I happened to have all of the fishing stuff the weekend that it was fishing.
Oh, see, I probably could have done it the fishing week.
See, I had most of the stuff 1 week, so I did get it 1 week, but yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I guess I'm glad that they made it easier, but I think they made it just a touch too easy.
I almost feel like they need to like make the lower one lower, the middle one middle, and I think they should like add and if you're fucking crazy, do this one.
Yeah, or
that's where I feel like maybe they made it too easy.
Maybe
I
they
still
should have
haven't
added like a
beaten
20K.
one since that once.
Maybe
Yeah,
add
something
like a
in
20K
between.
prize, and then the top prize be an additional 30K, so you'd still get that 50K.
Yeah.
Oh, is it 50K? Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, without the buff, you get 60K. With buffs, you can get up to 80K.
Nice.
Yeah,
I didn't know it was that high. I only did it during that 1 week, during the Make It Rain.
And during the Make It Rain, you could get almost 100,000 if you maxed it out.
Every week, just go talk to him and get your 10K.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Every week.
But then I haven't bought a single single lottery ticket since that came out. So
Yeah, I try and say, yeah, guys, don't forget, before the show, go check your Jumbo Cacpot. She's like, oh yeah, let me do it. Oh yeah, I didn't buy him again.
I always forget where it is, and I get lost.
There's an Aetherite thing.
I was gonna say,
right to
teleport
Cactopod
to it.
Who says I've even got it?
That's too
I
much
still
work for
don't have the
Chille.
Aetherites in Limsa.
Like at this point, you're just not even trying.
I was gonna say, at some point, you have to actually do some effort.
It's Chille we're talking about, but it's nice that they're adding new things, and I hope it gives us something to spend it on. Like I said, I'm over almost 3.5 million MGP again.
Nice.
And I bought 2 sets of the games.
I did I grinded enough to buy. I had 50K MGP when the event started. I grinded enough to buy Fenrir, 1 whole set and a half a set of the games.
Yeah, I didn't buy any of the games, but
well, they're still available, so
yeah. Well, my husband has them all in his basement, so I should go visit his house.
That screwed up my hustle plans, and I don't like to swear. I bought a second set just because I expected them to not come back again till like the year after.
Yeah, I expected that too, so a little disappointed. But
I bought a second set, and then I was going to sell them for monies.
Well, you can't sell the stuff for actual money anymore.
I know, and it makes me really, really sad. I still have stuff on my second account that was like the event after, the holiday event after.
There is a way to do that.
Well, yeah, furniture items you can, but yeah. No, but I'm talking like chocobo barding music.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I made so many millions of gil by running seasonal events over and over and over again and selling the extras later. Trees, the cherry trees. Yep. I made like 5 million gil on cherry trees.
Bank on those Eastern cherry
My
trees.
Cinna would put them up for ridiculously high amounts, knowing that nobody would buy them so she could have extra inventory space. No, people bought them.
People bought them.
Because they eventually got to that price and they were still listed there, and boom. She's rich.
Mm-hmm. I still have no way to spend all the gil I have, though. That's the hard part.
Oh, wow.
I have nothing to buy.
That's another story. We'll continue on. Speaking of
my gil goes to raiding.
No, I thought all your gil went to lust.
Why not both?
Well, all your gil in Hyperion goes to lust. So
yeah.
Anyway,
raiding them pants.
Damn it, Chille. They announced a new custom deliveries client. We have a gentleman this time. The Pigmass proprietor of the hard place, Adkirach. How do you pronounce that?
I have no idea. I'm assuming he's a gil seller because of his name. I should just report him now.
But no, this guy, he's he's in Idleshire, I believe.
Yeah. He's the pig guy.
Yep. And they did confirm that he will be glamourable at max rank. So we may find out what's beneath the mask.
People are saying that it might be an aura.
An aura.
I mean, in terms of body type and the like, it certainly fits.
Maybe it's a male...
male Viviera.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy.
Maybe it's multiple Lalafell.
It's 4 Lalafell. I'm going with that.
In a trench coat.
It's for Lala Trichka. Oh my god.
It's Chille times 4.
By the way, when it comes to Vera, I'm really hoping that the men they do the opposite of the Auras. You know, where the women are small and dainty. I want the Vera to be like the women are like the tall, strong ones, and the men are small and dainty.
A lot of people are hoping that.
That'd be interesting.
Chille would probably switch over to a Vera then.
Like, there are a lot of people who would like to be able to play a small guy. SMOL, small.
Ooh, the Blue Mage Relic NPC to be a female Vera. That'd be interesting. That would be an interesting thought. Except for they already told us who the Blue Mage, they've already shown us him, so.
Yeah, it's a guy coming over from
who's
the
culturally
new world.
appropriating.
Yeah.
I know.
Like, they pretty explicitly said it. He's like bringing all this stuff over. So he just like took a whole bunch of native, whatever the West is, not Native American, but what their artifacts and brought them over here. Is like, look, I discovered blue magic. You can tell because I'm in Eorzea.
What, like fat ties from the 70s? Is that cultural appropriation?
Maybe.
I'll sell you these shiny rocks.
Snake oil salesman is what we call them in the U.S., so.
That's what we'd call them here.
Oh, cool.
Woo! Cultural exchange.
Cultural
it turns out we're the same.
We're the same.
So when do we
We
get to
all
glamour
bought that
Monago?
snake oil.
But yeah, we're gonna have to glamour him, see what he looks like, and then just put that
In a
pig head back on
bikini.
him. In a bikini. Oh,
Yeah. I can see it now. Go up to us like, we can finally glamour him. Glamour's on a swimsuit, shirtless. Leave the pig head on.
Don't talk to me anymore.
I still want to glamour Monago.
That's reasonable. I like her as a nice professional soldier type.
Well, you can keep her that way. Everybody else wants to put her in a swimsuit.
Why do you people put them in swimsuits?
Because
Everything-
swimsuits.
It's disturbing, and we like disturbing things.
I have that 1.0 dated gear that is my merchant getup, and since they're all working in merchant stuff, I put them in that getup too.
I never
They are
thought to
part
put
of
them
my
in my.
They are part of my consortium.
I never thought to put them in my dated gear. I have like that dated straw hat. I always glamour on my fisherman.
Oh, love that thing.
It's so cute.
But
I wish I'd kept my 1.0 account, but I lost it.
Like, I have a consortium. There is a uniform for it. As you are working with me on these deliveries, you are now part of my consortium. Payday is Tuesday.
You're like Rowena,
that's what I was just gonna
but you
say.
couldn't rename them. Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about. That is a scurrilous accusation you will be hearing from my solicitor.
Payday's Tuesday. Someday.
I didn't say which Tuesday.
Yeah.
But there is a Tuesday, and on that one, you will get paid.
I'll
Or your
gladly pay you
Mexican.
Tuesday for hamburgers
Hamburger
today.
today? From Five Guys.
I will take a Wendy's instead.
Oh,
Speaking
Sir,
of
I'm
the
so
This
glamours,
is the wrong answer, but let's move on.
yeah, speaking of the glamours, they announced a whole bunch of new mounts, minions, hairstyles, and emotes. They specifically showed off the Seyrr dog, as well as the Ninetales
It was
we're going to get
cute.
when we get all of them.
Not a fan of the Ninetales, but I'm not going to hold it against those who like it.
It's not
I'm
gold.
really
It's not, yeah, it doesn't fit the other, I don't know, theme.
And it's also
I'm just really
not,
disappointed that
the
it's
Naruto
literally
version.
just the. I'm just disappointed. I know we wanted the Fate mount, but it's the fact that they made it the.
the exact same as the Fate.
I wanted the Fate mount, but I wanted it from the Fate from collecting the stones.
Yeah.
I don't want it as my reward for
Yeah.
collecting all the doggos.
I mean, that makes I can understand that, but I mean, what else were they going to put in then for a mount?
Well, they could have just put this. They could have used the same model, but as you said, make it like golden or something.
I mean, otherwise, is there some sort of sacred golden dog or something like that they could have used?
I don't know.
Hello,
They could have made something up themselves, I guess. I don't
Yeah.
know.
So
I don't
they
know.
were
It's
going to
scary and
borrow
weird looking,
from-
and it's red, and I don't know.
I'm going to tell you now that the next expansion. I'm going to leak it here. I'm going to say it here.
oh dear.
Next expansion's mounts will be pigs.
Oh my
Okay, you
God.
heard it here.
Well, when somebody was asking, you know how in or 2.0 we
Yeah.
have chocobo porters, and then we have eagle porters, and then we have whatever it was. We have different porters. What is it going to be for the next expansion?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
The reason why I suggest pigs is because we've roughly been following the Zodiac. And pigs will be following.
I'm going with giant rabbits because Vieira.
Ride the rabbits. I'm sure everybody will want to do that in 5.0.
A bunch of California whites will hop around.
And I was like battle boars. You know what I mean? Like armored boars and stuff.
Ooh. Maybe it's like little Magitex?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Not actual pigs, but just like, you know. They've got like the design.
Something Magitech would make sense for 5.0 because of, we know what's going on in the next patch or so. We'll see what happens.
There's no proof that we're going to Garlemald. We're going to Garlemald.
I was going to say, narrator.
Maybe we'll get snakes.
Maybe we'll head towards Garlemald and then we get lost and then we end up thinking.
Well, Garlemald had some of those dungeons. Was it? No, I'm thinking of something else. I'm trying to think of what animal was. There wasn't one really. I don't know.
The wolf. They use those in some fates.
Where did we get the little puppy with the spiked collar? Was that one of those dungeons?
Oh yeah, that showed up in Balsar's Wall.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what I'm thinking of. I'm like thinking like dogs. Yeah,
yeah.
You're like bulldogs.
The British bulldog. They're the best minion.
It's very.
Oh well, it's almost as good as the one that eats its own puke.
Oh, dogs.
Oh, three-headed dogs. I'm excited though also for the fishing otter. That's cute.
Yep.
I like minions. Minions and mounts for me are gotta catch them all.
Yeah.
So
This is definitely
I want
our
them.
Pokemon.
Which is why it's Lords of Minions makes me sad because I would have so liked that if it was just like like a open world PvP but with minions.
Or instead of having it be an RTS, there's like a team of 3, and you.
Or even if it was more like I don't know if you guys. I think it was called Pancreation in 11.
Pancratian.
Yeah, something like that, but with minions, that would have been.
So a friend of mine always called it Pancreas Ration.
The one where you take pictures of monsters and then they became a.
Yep.
Yeah.
Pancratian.
I love that. I spent so many hours that.
I don't think I ever did that. I might have quit by then.
I remember when it came out, but I never played it either.
I would spend hours. But then I also used to spend hours just sitting on the boat, so.
I remember helping my friend get a leech, which he called Mighty Vortex.
I just like
Mighty Vortex.
Pirates.
You were the
best. I used to role play being the guy in charge of the boat. And I'd sit there for just hours. I'd be, pirates, go downstairs, everyone. Get up in orderly fashion.
I also kind of
Sabina will not be responsible for any injuries incurred by.
But speaking of the new minions, I did like the little Magitech one they showed as well. It looked like a little white Magitech scorpion or something like that.
It was cute. Yeah.
I like the little Magitech ones. They're cute.
Should have been a mount.
Yeah, for you it could be a mount, right, Chille? You're like the smallest of the small. He's
so small.
So small.
So small.
But no, those were really cute. And then they did also on the website they showed off the new hairstyles and a couple emotes as well. We'll figure out where those are all coming from. So,
Eureka!
I'm reasonably sure that at least one of those will be Evilise. It looks a lot like.
Oh yeah, I think one of them will be a quest reward. Yeah, for finishing the 24-man raid.
Yeah, there's usually one for that. And there's probably going to also be one then that you have to roll on about 1,000 times in order to try and get.
I don't think they've ever had a hairstyle drop.
No, not hair. Oh, you think the hairstyle is going to be for the reward? I always thought you were talking minions.
No, I'm thinking the hairstyle will be the reward for the because the minion will be a drop, but the hairstyle will be a reward.
Yeah, like they gave Orchestrion rolls for previous ones.
Okay. Well, there's going to be a bunch of those as well.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yep.
It could be like the side quest, like they did with the crafting one they did with was it the last 24-man raid or was it the one before that where you had to go bring them bacon bread and they'd give you a load of crystals?
That was the last one, Rita Rana.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
You did it, and they gave you a load of crack clusters, crack crystals, and stuff for bacon bread.
And while you're at it, you got a hilarious commentary about the wine industry and a lot of other industries, really.
Some people really complained about that, and I'm like, but it didn't take that long. And
I'm sat there thinking,
oh, I thought you meant they complained about it because they're like, you're slandering our industry. It's like,
no,
exactly,
people are like, don't make me do another stupid fetch quest, and I'm like, it took 2 seconds, guys.
And then there's
how else are you going to motivate your Dark Knight quests later?
And then there's me sat there thinking, oh yes, I get to spend time with my favorite LFL NPC, the one that sits at the beach, all the cat girls.
Oh no! See, my Yelta has a crush on the fisherman Lalafell.
Oh,
so that's Gegeruju and Wabalago.
Mm-hmm. I entered the Valentine's Day contest years and years ago. I wrote a little poem to my dearest love.
Oh.
I mean, it's pretty hilarious.
Did you know Chille back then?
Don't tell my husband.
My Lalafell just wants to, once he's finished being a warrior of light, he wants to retire and have the same sort of life as him.
Cat girls everywhere.
Yeah.
Well, he's trying to do
after
that
he's
now.
saved the world. Yeah, he wants to save the world first, and then he'll get the cat girls.
It's like, what's the point in having the cat girls if the world blows up? Make sure the world is safe, then cat girls.
Yeah.
All right.
Seems eminently reasonable.
Some other things they announced some housing updates. This is one that I actually like that they announced. Interactive items will be altered so they don't disappear. And the arrows,
which is good.
The arrows on them will only appear when you get close. So that's kind of a nice thing, because I don't know if you guys have noticed where you've got a lot of the interactive items, like either the foods or the lamps that you can turn off and on. A lot of them will very easily disappear if you're if you go just out of range, and it looks kind of funny.
Oh, our whole basement, pretty much the entire Nofika's Bosom Free Company house basement does that.
I feel like we're going to get a lot more fixes for that once 5.0 drops and they stop supporting 32-bit.
Yeah, because it definitely is a memory limitation.
Yeah.
And they did also show off some new furniture items. Who wants that fat cat couch?
I do, but I also want the painting set so my Lalafell can sit and paint happy little Trenants.
I want that fish tank.
Little Trenants, okay.
No, the tank looks amazing.
Yeah, the Tsukiyomi tank set. Yeah, they showed us some really things. What was that, Chille?
Tuscanomi.
No, that's not even close.
I don't remember seeing that set, if I'm honest.
Yeah,
I only saw the fat cat and the happy little Trenant painting set.
Nope, they had it. They showed it right after that, and actually, the Gamer Escape coverage, I believe, has that. No, the website actually has it listed. The actual 4.5 website lists or shows that off.
Nice. I think I snuck off lunch around that time.
Yep. I mean, there's a lot more coming, but those are the things that they showed off specifically. Yeah. And then they talked a little bit about some job adjustments they're going to be getting. They specifically mentioned Machinist, Monk, and White Mage will have adjustments in 4.5. So Chille.
Those aren't permanent adjustments.
Nope.
And they could seem like nerfs as well.
Yeah, well, what it is, I mean, they're making some changes to try and make them, a little bit more useful in the current setup. Yeah. But like I said, they're all subject to change again. And 5.0 is going to have some significant changes to the job systems for all jobs. So, any changes made here.
Especially Dark Knight.
Yeah. Well, we don't know what we're going to be getting on a lot of it, to be honest with you. So.
Well, the biggest thing is the fact that they're dropping...
Speculating wildly.
Exactly.
The biggest thing is them dropping TP, if I'm honest. That's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I'm really wondering how they're going to handle some aspects of that.
I was like, how are they going to work? Are they going to remove Goad?
No, they'll maybe turn it into a refresh style.
I mean, they might. They did also talk about, it's the usual thing. As you get further and further up, you have ability bar bloat. They might change some of the bits of it to take out that as a mechanic and have it be something else in its place.
It's possible, because I know it'll simplify things on the Bard side, because we won't have both of the songs for TP and MP regeneration.
Now you'll just have 2 songs.
I'm really hoping it's a streamlining and not a gutting of all interesting overlapping mechanics.
Yeah.
I worry that like they make it so simplistic that there's no reason to bring anything that has, support or whatever.
I really wish they would just have done what they did in PvP. I know they said they didn't want to do it, but I wish they'd just done what they did in PvP and made certain combos the same button.
Oh, the thing where like the ability kind of automatically changes to the next one?
If it procs, it just changes, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
that would have saved them so much buttons without actually gutting things.
For bloat, they might have to go that route for some abilities, not all, but
And
some.
that might be actually why they put it in PvP, to use it as kind of a test.
Yeah.
I don't really feel like that's dumbing it down either, because it feels like I only push the button 3 out of that combo if the procs get there. So
see, for Monk, I do like 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 4, 3.
I know
so
there's a couple of jobs that it might not work well for, the ones that have specific rotations, like Dragoon has, you need to follow these particular
So with Monk, you've got to have your buff up from one combo, but at the same time, while that's up, you have to do your own combo.
But I think Dragoon still has the most complex rotation of any of the jobs at this point, don't they?
Well, yeah, because we didn't get anything. Oh,
I mean, it's like a 50-some key combination to get all the way through it, or something like that. Based
on my god, that's ridiculous.
Well, it's. I know. I remember even in 2.0, it was like 20.
For Monk, it's just the weight. It's just the start that's the worst, because if you've got to make sure your Forbidden Chakra's up for the pull, so you got to press that Forbidden Chakra button 5 times in a row. And then you want to make sure you're in the right stance to start with. So you start with Grease Lightning, so you got to press the Filmer Strikes 3 more times. So before you've pulled anything, there's your 8 buttons.
Yeah, ninjas and monks seem to really, really suffer from that. There's no way to. I know monks especially. There's no way once you drop out of you have like a long cutscene in a fight or something. There's like no way to jumpstart getting right back into it, and that's kind of gross and awful. They need to fix that.
My static found it funny that I found a way to keep in Guardian fight. I was the only monk to do this that I know of. These sides, like in Coil, they hurt you if you ran into them.
Mm-hmm.
I worked out that the time that the Guardian flies off, and by the time he lands, I'd run into the side of the wall with Riddle of Earth just as my Grease Lightning is about to end, just to refresh it.
Like, I'm pretty sure that's why that exists.
Yeah, I was gonna say I read that somewhere. So yeah,
I'd run and get the Riddle of Earth buff, and then run back out, and then by the time he lands, I'd still have like 10 seconds left, and the paralyzation only has a 1 second tick left. So I'd just rush in and do a quick combo and get my reset my stacks again.
But it really should be as easy as hitting transpose or something.
I shouldn't have to run into a wall.
But you shouldn't have to like kill yourself to refresh your thing. It might not have to be.
That's how you prove your dedication.
Yes.
Well, it doesn't have to be optimal DPS wise, but at least some way to like not be the weakest link for the first 20 seconds of the next part of the fight.
It's like if I die, I then have to get all the stacks back. I know
that feels problematic.
That's why you don't die, Chille.
Sometimes it's not. The game doesn't like me. Like today in 11S. No, not today, but a couple of days ago in 10S, where it hit. I lagged and got hit by one of the Earth Shakers, and then the next mechanic was Archmon, and it picked me. So thanks.
Happy birthday. All right, can we go ahead and move on?
Yeah,
let's keep going.
All right. So then they talked about the new primal, the Wreath of Snakes.
Not primal so much as trial. I feel like
you know what I mean.
Like I am going to get 8 million questions asking about. Wait, are these guys primals?
Not really, but I do.
I'm still going to get the questions.
I like that they explained why they went with a snake, and I guess it kind of makes sense. Well, Seyrr is normally a dragon. They thought there were way too many dragons already in Heavensward, so they went with a snake instead.
Well, and dragons are a distinct race, really, in 14. So I get it. I played 11. I was surprised when I saw Seyrr, and I'm like, oh, that's some snakes, and I'm like, okay.
Plus, in Japanese mythology, if anyone's ever watched Naruto, you'll have learned this as well from Kabuto. The snakes are like a subspecies of dragon.
Well, and yeah, he really looks like a Chinese dragon, kind of that long, skinny one. You know, if you look at it, it's really kind of dragon-like.
Yeah, one of the forms is definitely an Eastern-styled worm dragon.
There was definitely some bits from the trailer that reminded me of like an Orochi or something like that.
He also kind of reminded me of a Hydra.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I thought of that too. Hydra.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Anybody else?
It's like I think they were playing with a lot of aspects of that.
Yep. I watch way too much Naruto because, like I said, I saw Orochimaru in some of that.
Yeah, it's his white snake form.
Well,
which is drawn from an actual Japanese mythology thing.
Yeah.
Like the Orochi.
Yeah, I know.
Stuff happened before Naruto.
Did it?
Oh, believe it.
Oh my god, I hate you so much.
I'm going to be Hokage.
But I don't mind that Seyrr looks more snake-like than dragon-like. But I have this problem though, and I have the same problem with Byakko, where it just looks like this weird, misformed. Just throw a human on it, or throw a human arm on it, or it's a humanoid. I have problems with that, but that's just me, and I can get past it.
Or how about the whole tiger arm thing?
I don't like the tiger arm thing. That makes me fucking crazy.
I think part of that is done on purpose, sort of like these are these very powerful beings where something's going wrong.
Well,
like they are experiencing some kind of body horror-ish thing.
Here's the thing. If you look at Genbu, the whole idea is the more powerful we are, the cuter and tinier we get, is kind of the theme, right? So they already have this body morphing thing going on, and when we're fighting them, they're definitely in a place of flux.
Genbu's always been kind of small. Even when they showed him in his like his origin story, he was a very small.
Yeah, but take Genbu, and then you take like Byakko, where it's like, oh, I'm a giant tiger guy, kind of with this weird arm.
Well, that's his Aramatama form.
Yeah, but I don't care for it. But I can get over it. But I'm like, here's like this cool Chinese dragon looking thing, and we'll throw a couple more snakes on it, and then there's this guy with a sword on top. Right? It's a little weird to me.
Yeah. But I do think they were purposely going for we want it to look like odd and unreal, to like kind of drive home this is some sort of weird supernatural thing. This is not just, oh, hey, it's like a tiger, but bigger.
Well, yeah, it really looked like a weird anime demon monster that's supposed to look surreal and off-putting.
Plus, how else are they supposed to have a reason to paint a very expensive kimono that they're going to use just once?
You're not wrong.
I rarely am. I'm wrong like all the time.
Not that you'll ever admit it, but
I just admitted it. I will admit it frequently in the moment.
He'll totally take it back here in a bit.
Except for he's always right. I'll back him up just because I'm drinking. So.
Woo!
But yeah,
let's talk about Blue. Let's talk about.
You want to talk about Blue Mage?
Let's talk about Blue Mage. I'm excited and hesitantly excited. I understand there's a lot of hate, man. If you go to Reddit, if you go to the official forums, there are people who are like just bitterly poisoned by this entire way they're rolling it out. And there's people like me who are like, they're trying something new. I'm going to see what it's like, and I'm sure they're all just.
It's a limited job. Why should anything ever be limited?
Come on, it's the McRib.
That's right, and it's back for limited time.
It's a limited job. Sorry, but
now you've just got me thinking about McRibs again. I hate you.
Now I'm hungry. I'm going to go BRB, go in the fridge.
But
BRB checking multiple markets to see which ones the McRib has returned to.
I do have
blueberry
cheesecake.
Oh my god, I hate you. And all I have is gummy bears.
So Yoshida played a little bit of Blue Mage in the live letter. He showed off how some of the job quests are going to work. every 5 levels we're going to get a job quest like in the past. I believe some of those are going to require you to go to get a specific enemy attack, and it's going to have a specific chance at succeeding. Like they said bad breath would be about a 30% chance of actually learning it when you are fighting a Morbol, 20% on Sardine Toss when you're fighting up Kalu, stuff like that.
It sounded like it was going to be something where it's just kind of a fixed chance, and you don't have to worry about doing all sorts of whatever crazy rituals, which people will do anyways, because gamers.
Yep, there are still going to be a number of enemy effects that you're going to have to learn just as you're leveling up as well. So you're not going to get all of your job abilities by doing the job quest. You'll have to level it up as well and go into the book, figure out where these enemies are, and get them that way.
Well, and I think that's a good thing, because if you're super, super unlucky, the fact that when I hit 50, I will at least have 10 abilities.
Yeah, that's
right.
Well, I don't know if I'm still I don't know if it's actually going to be monster abilities or if it's going to be like buffs.
You think these are going to be like the support abilities?
Yeah, like passives and stuff.
Well, yeah.
I mean, like they specifically showed one from the spell book.
Yeah, I mean,
I know that one was like early. No, Bad Breath would look like it was learned. I think the one before that, the watery looking one, I think is probably what you get when you're starting out. So you can actually...
Yeah, just say you can have 1 or 2 from the starting quest, but I feel like
I see what you mean.
the future, like the later levels will just be like different types of abilities.
Yeah, well,
I mean, from what it sounded like, it's not something where they're necessarily tied to a specific level.
Yeah. Well, what I was getting at was Bad Breath and Sardine Toss are both status effect abilities.
For now, anyway, because they did talk about the fact that level 5 death will be added, but level 5 death will only be added once the cap has been raised to 60.
Oh.
So
I'm not even sure that job is going to have traits, right? I really feel like it's going to be like you fight the stuff, you do the quest, you might get an ability, you fight the stuff, you learn abilities, and that's it.
And they also said that that the weapon isn't going to be as important for Blue Mage as it is for the
That weirded
others.
me out. They're like, it's
I
not.
really hope I really hope they're not going to use that as a way to cheapen out and not add different types of weapons.
I mean, it's still, they do have that weapon. I think
there is a weapon for Blue. There has to be, because the way the armory system works,
it's armory system.
Your job
but
based on your.
But
weapon.
I think what Chille is saying is that, for instance, like when you leveled Machinist, there was the weapon for Stone Vigil of Machinist, or there was a weapon for all the others, and they might say, "Hey, we're not going to worry about adding a weapon for every point in the leveling range for Blue."
Oh, I can see that, because who knows? You might be level 40, but you might be fighting level 20 stuff, still trying to get your items.
They might have like a level 10, 20, 30, 40 weapon versus.
Well, not even that. Remember the fact that they said that the weapon doesn't affect your damage at all.
Well,
I know, that was weird to me.
They might just also not want to deal with the additional load of trying to create all the weapons for all the different dungeons and things like that. Like, there's a non-trivial amount of work involved in that, and is it really going to add that much to the job?
Well, now are you going to want to spend your tomes on a weapon for Blue Mage, which is mostly solo? Are you going to want to run dungeons for a Blue Mage weapon because it's mostly solo?
But my glamour.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, yeah, but
that's
my glamour.
That's what I'm talking about, because I love the glamour system. Yeah, that would put me off Blue Mage a bit if there's no.
See, they're gonna put weapons out. They're just not gonna count them, right? You probably. Well, they already showed us. We're gonna go in and we're gonna go fight Shiva to learn her abilities.
Yeah.
As long as
I'm hoping there's a Shiva Blue Mage weapon.
As long as I get my primal weapons, I'm happy. I need my ice, I need my fire, I need my lightning.
And crafted, and a few NPC sold ones.
There just might not be as many as there have been for the other jobs.
Yeah, they may not stack as much int on those like they have for a lot of the other jobs where they stack their main stat.
Well, it's not like they were counting them at all, right?
Yeah, there's no weapon. The weapon damage doesn't count at all. Only armor and accessories.
Well, it's because int is going to have a larger impact. With Blue Mage versus the other jobs, so it's going to be tweaked just a little bit. So a lot of their gear is going to have all of their stats on it. It may end up being similar to how the offhand for Fisher works. We only have the one.
Yeah,
it's true.
That's what I was talking about. It's like, we'll get the one weapon, but Who knows if we're going to get more than that?
So you think the rest will just be glamour based? Then?
I bet it's going to be glamour only. That's how I read it was. Your main hand weapon is going to mean pretty much nothing. So I'm assuming they're going to. I'm assuming and I'm hoping, like Ruby said, they're going to give us like primal weapons and some other glamour weapons. But it doesn't matter, right?
Maybe they'll be
weapons will
only.
be available as a thing to glamour, but in terms of having to worry about the stats on them, not as much.
Right. It doesn't really matter. Yeah.
We'll
that seems like a reasonable way to go.
It's interesting. Then they also specified that the learned spells will be marked with a green dot in the spell book, and that once it's learned, then you can set it as an action. And there's going to be, you can have 5 sets of configurations for your actions.
I was happy to hear that, because I feel like as far as I'm reading about the Mass Carnival, is you're going to do these monster rushes, and they're going to have different sets of monsters that will come at you. I don't want to have to rebuild this is strong against lightning set, or this is my strong against water set. So I'm hoping
that was always one of the things that was annoying in FF11 when someone's coming along and he's like, hang on, I gotta reset all my spells.
Yeah, I hope it's kind of like the Gold Saucer Triple Triad. So you have 5 different decks that you can pick from, and you can name them. So I hope I have like my lightning stun, I have my ice set, my water set, whatever, and then I can just click a button and then swap them all over.
Well, I'm hoping eventually we get more than 5, because the next 10 levels will be, the first ones will be earth, air, fire, water, whatever. And then I think the next 10 will be, it's weak kinda to fire and kinda to lightning. So, you have to, maybe poison and earth.
Yeah. It's weak to water, but only after you have knocked down its defensive shield with a bit of earth.
Yeah, I'm really expecting you to have those technical... I'm expecting you to have to read the entire description about that floor, and
you're going to need to blast it with fire in order to knock off some of the ice and make a pool of water, and then you can electrocute it.
Yeah, I'm hoping it's that deep. Honestly, I think that would be the only thing that would excuse it for not being a mainstream, normal, non-limited job.
And then once Pikachu targets the horn, you'll be able to get around its immunity to electricity.
Also, if Pikachu aims for the sprinklers, he can weaken Onyx.
It's super effective.
Team Rocket should have just won more of those matches.
I have to go play my Pokemon Go Eevee, whatever.
But do you really think they're going to get into that level of...
I think they will, but I don't think we're going to get this much. I think that would be when the level cap goes up.
Well, I mean,
not right away.
I think it's going to be super simple from 1 to 50. I really don't think it's going to be complicated or anything. But
I thought Mass Carnival was at 50.
I'm really hoping that from 50 to 60 or 60 to 70 or 70 to 80, because we're going there, I'm hoping it will be more interesting, more control. And I'm also hoping, honestly, that once we're level 60 or 70, I'm really hoping they will let us queue up for stuff, because that's the big hate on Blue Mage right now is I want to do shit with my friends, and it's like, well, you can, because preform party you can still go into stuff, but I understand completely if Blue Mage will never be bleeding edge raid clearing. And I think that's okay. It's not the intention.
Yeah, because
I really hope though that it doesn't wait too long.
No,
to be
I don't want to lag. I don't want to lag super hard, but it could be like a patch or a patch and a half or half a patch or something behind.
The impression I got when I was looking at those restrictions was you will never party with the Blue Mage unless you specifically intentionally do so. Yeah.
That's how I read it.
It's like I like Klauss's idea about the the Palace of the Dead, because we can't access Palace of the Dead in the first patch. But I think we'll be able to get into it the second patch with pre-made once the level cap goes up to 60.
Yeah, because you have to be at least level 60 to get in there.
Oh, right, because it's like since it's leveling you up through the process of it's not even built up that far. That makes sense.
The top level is 60, so you have to be able to get to that point before you can get in. So, I mean, it does make sense that you can't level up that way.
Well, you don't have to be 60 to get into Palace of the Dead, but in Palace of the Dead, you go up to 60.
You have to be able to potentially reach level 60.
it is technically level 60 cap content.
Yeah.
So that does make sense. But what I was going to say is, I think this is going to be a limited job for as long as it takes for them to figure out how to integrate the level of complexity they put into the job and make that something that's fair for the rest of the content they're putting out there.
I mean, I've had this discussion with several people this week, actually. Like, that assumes that it's possible to do such a thing.
Yeah.
Like, maybe their conclusion was, it's not actually possible to do this. We know that this is not necessarily what a lot of people would have liked, but it's this or nothing, and we think that you'll be happier having this than having nothing.
But who knows?
Well,
as they're going
My
along,
only disappointment of Blue Mage was the
1 second, Chille. What I was going to say is they may be going along with this, and they may come up with something that allows them to make it something that can be balanced with the rest of the gameplay, and we might get it at the bleeding edge content.
I mean, maybe, but it sounded like they at least don't have an expectation that's going to happen at this point.
Yeah.
Like, yes, anything could potentially happen, but it sounded like, given what they know about it, they don't have any expectation that'll happen.
Yeah.
I don't
Doesn't
think
mean
you
it's
will
impossible,
ever. I don't think you will ever queue in randomly and get a Blue Mage
Yeah.
We'll see.
that doesn't have a certain amount. Well, they can add. They can add. You must have this shit to get into these abilities to get into this content, right? It's a different eye level.
But then it can also become something that becomes like, is this something that is still fun for the people who are playing it? If you have someone who's like, oh yeah, I get to play this classic thing, and then they find out, oh, the game won't even allow me in for it.
Right. You were
Like,
saying,
it still has to be fun.
you were saying, Chille?
Oh, I can't remember what I was going to say now.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just wanted to make sure that we were, that because it was kind of, went.
Oh, that was
with
it.
all of
Well, again, what was just did disappoint me that was the potencies. They seemed a little low for something that they were talking about being really broken and overpowered.
Though, like we said,
Oh no, that's absolutely true. Based on the video footage, it was not
I mean,
that
he struggled with
overwhelming, right? It was not. It was like, how does that break?
they may.
He was
not,
level 50, but he was having trouble killing that level 30 enemy.
I mean, if I had to guess, it has less to do with the potencies and more to do with what some of their abilities will be able to do.
And these also might not be the actual potency levels that are going to be released on the 15th.
Well, and even if they are, if it is underwhelming, they will adjust. If they are overwhelming, they will. I have faith in them. They've did a pretty decent job.
Now,
of
what if they're
balancing.
just whelming?
Then they've done it right.
Yes.
There we go.
All I know is I can't wait to throw fish.
Other thoughts on Blue Mage?
Throwing fish.
I mean, I feel like Chille's kind of hit the nail on the head there.
Throw
Who
the
doesn't
fish.
want to throw fish?
All right.
I do.
Well, you're just wrong.
No, I want to throw the fish. I'm with you.
Oh,
I want to throw
Yeah,
fish.
I'm saying
all
who
over the
doesn't
place.
want to?
Yeah.
Oh no, I just want a bad breath and full throw fish and whatever.
And Mighty Guard.
Mighty Guard.
And then, of course...
Yeah, that's the thing. I am pretty sure that anything that's worth the name of Mighty Guard, given the series history, that alone would break everything.
Well,
My God's a tank stance.
not anymore.
No, in this, it's a tank stance.
They changed the name of it
Oh,
No, I mean,
because of that problem.
the Blue Mage ability is a tank stance.
Wait, what?
Are you sure it's not like a
yeah.
protect and shell?
No,
No.
it's a damage down, defense up stance. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
and you gain more mini per hit. So
You mean it? Okay, I see.
Okay.
I did
you
not realize
take,
you'd
you
actually
take
see.
less damage, you do more. You take less damage, you deal less damage, and you gain more mini per hit while using Might Guard.
Okay. So, yeah, because initially Mighty Guard was the L2, the level 2 limit break.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
And then they had to change that.
I think that's what we were talking. I thought you were talking about that. So
Yeah, that's
No,
what I
I'm
thought
talking
too.
about the new one.
we
Yeah,
weren't
the new
listening to
one.
him apparently, Seyrr. Surprise, surprise, right?
Why do I need to listen to people? I could just simulate your conversations with close enough accuracy. Now Klauss is going to be like, blah, blah, blah. That's not fair. See me in my office, Seyrr.
You stimulated our ideas.
Oh, yeah, I stimulated it. Wait, what?
Anyway, so of course they had their other announcements. So the first question I have to ask is, who's going to Japan to get married?
I would love to.
I'm already married, but sure.
There was a line in The Good Place about this.
Apparently, they have partnered with the Japanese wedding planner Duke Zero to do a limited run of Final Fantasy XIV themed wedding plans. So if you want your ceremony of eternal bondage for real, you can go to Japan.
Which is amazing. To be honest, I know this is going to be the most stupidest idea. I hope they have like a robot wedding chocobo that you can sit on to take you out.
I don't need that, but I will admit that my husband and I spent more time planning our Final Fantasy XIV eternal bonding than we spent on our real life wedding. I'm just saying.
Well, I spend more time decorating my in-game house than I do keeping my real house up. So.
Eternal bondage does sound like a German wedding planner.
Oh.
And now it is time for the wedding.
Get the cuffs.
Do you take her? Yes.
All right. We talked about this a little bit last episode about Lawson's limit break flavored karaage.
I kind of leaked it.
Yeah.
Anything garlic related and chicken related, I need to eat.
Yum.
So, right.
This is actually when I tuned into the live letter. I turned the TV on, I rolled over, and I saw Soken holding a chicken nugget right in front of the screen.
Roasted garlic flavored chicken nuggets will be available in Japan on January 22nd.
This was when I was hungry and then went out for food. I missed the rest of the live letter.
I don't see the Meteor logo in that chicken nugget, though.
It kind of feels like a pareidolia thing. Like, oh, hey, the Virgin Mary is totally in this.
I'm going to see some hot mustard or sweet chili or
Szechuan sauce?
Dipping sauce. And I mean you, Chille.
Chille. He thinks you're sweet.
I'm going to dip this nugget into you.
Oh, my.
Oh, God. I don't know if I like that or not. I'm scared. Can I have? I need an adult.
He is an adult?
Yeah.
I need chicken nuggets. That's all I'm saying.
Anyway, they also talked about a Final Fantasy XIV piano collection CD coming out. So, because we all need more Final Fantasy music, right?
I mean, they know we'll buy it. They got our number. We're consumer whores.
Did they announce a minion with it?
Not yet.
See, like Chille's making my point.
Oh no, I've even started skipping shit that has bonus codes, mostly because I don't know how many times I need the same music released to me. Or
I only buy it if I like the look of the minion.
There are brand new tracks, but the bulk of it is already available on From Astral to Umbral and Duality. So I'm not sure if it's going to be about $30.
I mean, it's a license for printing money. They get that. Good for them.
Yeah, they get it. So go ahead. Give me another statue with an emote. I'll buy it.
It'll be available in Japan on March 6th. NA and EU is TBD.
That sentence meant something, and that makes me sad.
Well, speaking of available in Japan physical things, didn't they say they're making and giving away mahjong tiles? Because I have to find a way how to get those, because real life physical things I need to have.
They've got hiring out a whole mahjong sort of I don't know, esports arena is the only way to describe it, where they'll be doing live tournaments.
If this leads to mahjong being played in esports arenas, I take back anything bad I've ever said, because that reaches a level of surrealness that I can do nothing but applaud and weep at.
Oh, I know, because everyone who plays mahjong that I know could be older than my grandmother, so.
Oh my god. I want to see the little old ladies who are dominating FF14 mahjong parlors.
They are rough. They will hurt. They will cut you.
That's what I've heard.
And then the last thing
you don't mess with them
that I saw them talk about was the actual alpha figurine. Looks like a plastic.
Which is cute.
It almost looks like a plastic version of the plushie.
I don't know. I don't need that, but But I know Klauss probably does.
Actually, hold on. Now that I look at it, it looks like it's also I don't know. It looks,
I thought it was a plushie.
It does look.
Well, there's
already
already a plushie.
Mhm.
Klauss has it.
Yep, I think
I
I'm
have
gonna
it
stick
too.
with just that. I think I'm good with that.
Well, okay. So I was not in love with Alpha the day I saw his in-game. I'm like, did we really need another little tiny? What do they call those? Mascot things.
Yeah, he's
And
basically
I
a
guess.
mascot.
And I was kind of but the more I played Omega, the more I'm like sold on him. But I still don't feel like I need a in real life representation of him in any form.
Now, can we get like a little Omega statue with Cosmo Memory shouting action?
Male
Or
and
a
female
copy.
Well, they had
versions.
they had that little Omega on top of his head. So maybe that comes like an action figure.
Excellent.
That little accessory.
I am just never going to get tired of the whole thing where Omega's like, apparently vocalization is necessary for this.
Yelling things makes it more powerful.
Shout it out. Shout it out.
I will never get tired of that bit. That was just like, oh, Omega, you have managed to pierce the bounds of the fourth wall. Good job.
So, was there anything else that you guys saw, read, or heard about from the live letter that you wanted to discuss before?
You missed the book, this law book, the little story law book thing.
What's that?
I remember seeing a thing about a little book where it will cover the tales, like the tales from Dragon Song, the tales from.
Oh, I did miss that. I didn't even know about that. Let's see.
All the different tales will be written in a book. It'll also have its own like little unique tales that weren't done before, including one about Tattoo, and that's why I cared.
Those bastards, they know our number.
Yeah.
All right, I can probably sell some plasma or something.
Oh, and Alpha will also be a secret. Will be a playable character in Chocobo's Dungeon. Everybody, or whatever it's called.
I want that game.
That was cool. Yes.
Yeah.
Wait.
So Alpha's going to be in that as well as a guest.
Mm.
So.
But they didn't say anything about the Final Fantasy 15 crossover coming into 14.
That was.
I feel like
they're so slow on that.
I feel like at this rate we might not get it till Shadowbringers.
Yeah, because I mean, I Ruby, you watched the Final Fantasy 15 side of it.
Indeed.
And I played through it, and there is that bit right at the end of the story where Noctis disappears.
Mm-hmm.
That's where they're going to bring him in. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
It's at that point where he's going to come to Eorzea, he's going to do his thing, and he's going to warp back, and it'll be just 2 seconds later, and he'll be like, whoa.
I mean, maybe they feel the need to give it time to cook in Final Fantasy 15 and everybody to play it. But I mean, I think the crowd's different. You know, those that are going to play it in 15 probably will have already played it by the time the new patch comes out. Mm-hmm. So maybe it's a dev thing. Maybe it's they just can't get it in time. I really don't know why they're not able to get it in here, or it's something that they're going to leave for like midway through and they just haven't locked it down enough that they can for sure say it's going to be within this patch cycle. Maybe it's that 4.58.
I was just going to say that's our 4.58 content.
I don't know. I feel like everything that's going on with 15, with them not doing all the DLCs they were going to do and whatever, they need to get this shit out, right? Because I have lost interest.
I feel like it's just the lack of dev. You know, they're really busy with Shadowbringers coming out in a few months. That chances are that they might not just have the staff available.
Or it might just be something that they're just kind of lying low on. If, like, with the announcement that all that DLC was being canceled, if it's just like, hey, people are kind of sore about this, maybe we don't want to be hyping this too much right now.
Well, here's another. Episode Arden launches March 2019, so maybe it's a marketing ploy. We wait and get it out around that time.
That's possible.
Could be.
So,
because
like
Arden does remind me of Solace.
And they did some stuff with the Lightning event around when, like, Lightning Returns was coming out, wasn't it?
Don't talk about that woman. I don't want to hear about Lightning.
Okay.
I hate her.
But she will never be forgotten.
We do not speak of her.
She will never be forgotten.
She's dead.
Chille, you're playing with fire here, and not like in the good way.
I mean, it's not like he's trying to say that Ishgard is an amazing place and that Estinian is a wonderful character with such depth.
Do you want to bring the Crucible down on us?
I was going to say, wrong
Please
group.
stop
That's the
swearing.
Crucible.
I know, but you know, it's not quite on the same level.
No, we
Please
won't.
stop swearing. That's the most offensive words I've heard in my ears.
I won't go postal over lightning. I'll just try to dodge it 200 times. And
Oh my god, I hate you so much. I have a friend who set up a little electric eye thing to detect those flashes and automatically push the button.
Fine, let me just insult Klauss now as well.
Oh, sure. I'm down for that.
We've got 1,000 words on this topic.
Uh...
And what can we do for you? I can't hear you.
So, and
I'm okay.
So anyways, that's a conversation that happened.
All right.
Oh, what did we also miss Dragon Quest? Did you mention Dragon Quest Builders stuff that they were showing off in there?
Yeah,
I don't know
they
that
showed
there's
us-
any crossover, but you know.
I don't think it's
excited for
crossover.
that.
They just-
Dragon Quest Builders 2, yes, hype.
I don't think we did. I didn't see any mention of that. So
They pretty much showed off like some Fantasy 14 stuff in Dragon Quest Builders, just
Mhm,
like that they built. You know,
Oh,
not
okay.
actually.
So it
y-
was
yeah.
somebody had built FF14
Yeah.
stuff in Builders.
Yeah, there was like a Namazu and a Moogle and a what's the one? What's that one you like, Yelta? The
But you already said
the box.
Namazu.
Like the Paisa.
No, what's the little black creature that carries rocks everywhere?
Spriggan.
Spriggan.
Oh, the Spriggan.
Spriggans
There
are
was
my
a Spriggan.
jam.
Yeah.
They are the cutest.
All right.
Well, and Yoshida's name I think is in the credits of like Dragon
Yeah.
Quest Builders or something. He has something to do with that kind of stuff. So
It turns out that he has other jobs. We are not. He is not exclusive with us.
That cheating bastard.
Well,
Daddy,
he is
you have
also in
other
charge
children?
of a large, department of.
Well, he's
story
in charge of
units.
Business Division 7, is it, or 11?
Yeah,
I
which might
can't remember which one it
include.
is.
He was
Dragon
very
Quest.
clear that this was not an exclusive thing. You're the ones who got your hopes up.
Anyway,
He's been honest about it the whole time.
let's go ahead and move on because I know a lot of people have been really itching to hear Seyrr talk about some lore-based information
Woo!
because we haven't had a lore segment in a little while again because, well, Sayr's been taking care of real-life things, and we understand.
Which I appreciate. I appreciate you understanding.
We love
since-
you, sir.
Aw. Since I was traveling this week, I didn't have time to put together anything especially formal. So what I actually want to do was, I haven't had the chance to do a proper story time for a while, either here or like at work. Seriously, I keep getting shifts without story times. It's kind of making me sad.
Aw.
So I did see one of a story that I rather enjoyed from the new lore book, and I thought it would be fun to just do a little reading of that, especially since I know lots of folks are waiting for it there still. So maybe here's a little something to whet your appetite for it. So what I do have is the long-awaited story of the Sins of Sasamo. You may remember out the western gate of Ul'dah, the gate of the Sultana, there's the series of staircases referred to as the Sins of Sasamo. And that's a question that people have had for a long time. What exactly were Sasamo's sins? This place has an intriguing name, clearly has a story behind it, and people have wanted to know just what that story was. And so it is dramatic reading time.
Yay! Everybody go ahead and get your popcorn, sit
Dun
back.
dun dun.
All right. So, according to records penned by Ul'dah court historians, it was in the 1388th year of the 6th Astral Era. For reference, the events of 1.0 went down around the 1650s, I want to say. So we're talking a little over 300 years prior. That Princess Sasamo Ul'Samo, first in line to the throne, turned cloak against both nation and kin. Having grown weary of her elder sister Sasidi's rule, Sasamo is believed to have quietly forged alliances with remnants of the recently overthrown Thorn dynasty in a plot to claim the Sultanate for herself. Before the plan could be executed, however, one of Sasamo's own cabal betrayed her to the Sultana, resulting in the princess's immediate arrest and imprisonment in the Marasaja pit. Those of you who have done the Black Mage quests may remember Kekerusha. can never pronounce his name, but was also imprisoned in that pit. So this is kind of a place for the worst of the worst in the old Oz criminal scene. At the much publicized trial, the princess was charged with and convicted of a remarkable 80 counts of wrongdoing, from high treason against the Sultanate and attempted regicide to blasphemy and libertinism. Normally, such crimes, and in such abundance, would be punishable with a sentence no less than death. Yet matters were not as simple as erecting a gallows in the Gold Court, for Sultanate law specifically prevented the execution of any member of the royal family. To see justice meted, the Sultana tasked her counselors to design a punishment that would serve to duly humiliate her sister, while proving severe enough to deter any future uprisings. The resulting sentence was, at the time, the most extravagant the realm had ever witnessed. For each charge brought against her, Sasamo was ordered to climb and descend the 80 steps leading from Scorpion Crossing to the Western Trade Gate, now the Gate of the Sultana, 80 times a day, for 80 straight days, reciting aloud one of her 80 crimes with each step taken. For some of the more vertically endowed races, this might not have been such a daunting task, but for a privileged noble weighing but a few stones, a stone is, I want to say, 17 pounds, Chille?
Yeah, I think that's about right.
Yeah. So, weighing but a few stones and measuring not a hair over 3 fulms, the punishment was brutal, to say the least. As is their wont, the citizenry of Ul'dah were eager to witness the shaming of one in such high standing, and took relish in their part of the ever-raucous rabble. In the first weeks of Sasamo's punishment, the crowd would gather every morn at cock-call to jeer and spit, hurling profanities and refuse without surcease. The repeated abuse was a heavy burden on both mind and body of the princess, and soon it began taking Sasamo upwards of 18 bells to complete her daily circuit, leaving little time in the oubliettes to regain strength before the following sunrise. Yet, to her credit, the disgraced second daughter of the former sultan refused to flinch, refused to hang her head in shame. It was this stubborn resilience that saw a transformation of the small folks' hearts.
And sorry, I was wrong. It's 14 pounds.
14 pounds. So you're talking like somewhere in the 30 to 40 pounds if she's a few stones. Give or take. After witnessing the tiny maiden will herself up and down the dusty tor day after brutal day, the ever-present jeers slowly began melting away into silent awe before eventually rising to cheers. However, while the encouragement of the populace was enough to brighten her spirit, it could not provide succor for Sasamo's weary flesh. And on the 80th day, the 67th step of her 75th ascent, the princess could lift her legs no more and collapsed of exhaustion, never to rise again. Yet what would happen next would leave the city-state awestruck. The crowd of small folk who had accompanied the princess for nigh on 3 moons rushed to her side and gently raised aloft the wasted frame. They then proceeded to carry it in somber silence for the 5 remaining circuits, so that Sasamo Ul Samo might be absolved of her crimes before the long journey to Thal's realm. The Sultana was visibly shaken by the turn of events, wrought with guilt for approving the punishment that would ultimately condemn her only sibling. In response to the actions of Mal, Sasidi immediately proclaimed Sasamo's sentence rightly served, and moved to rename the very stairway upon which her sister fell the 80 Steps of Sasamo, that the people might ever remember the day. Or, so the royal court would have us believe. Often do we find that history is as malleable as hot wax, with historians serving as but the seals of the ruling class. Might there not have been another side to this tragic tale? A side that might paint a different picture? the recent discovery of a diary allegedly penned by Sasamo in her final days cast doubt on the court-spun narrative that Sasamo was the driving force behind the failed coup, suggesting that the true villains of the story may be her advisors working under orders of the Sultana herself, in an attempt by Sasadi to preemptively quell any potential threats to her rule, by constructing an elaborate plot that would see her sister implicated in crimes inescapable. This theory is further supported by the fact that, despite documented collusion with the princess, each of Sasamo's advisors silently escaped any manner of punishment, with most simply disappearing from Ul'dah altogether. A convenient end for the Sultana, to say the least. Is it not possible that, trapped in a position where any negativity toward the now martyred princess might insult the Ul'dah citizenry, Sasadi Sadi was forced to make a move that would receive favorably by the public? Had she truly forgiven her sister? Her actions would suggest otherwise. Petitions by the populace to hold yearly remembrances for the fallen princess were consistently denied, and pilgrims who had journeyed to walk the steps turned away by guards, citing congestion. What is more, but 3 summers had passed before the Sultana ordered the city charters rewritten, quietly changing the steps' name once again to the current 80 Sins of Sasamo. And the episode involving the small folk burying the princess after her premature passing, rewritten with an official account stating that Sasamo collapsed on the final step of the final pass. A slow, yet surgically precise barrage of palace-centric propaganda had become a pall over the memories of the people, leaving them susceptible to a truth convenient to none save the court. Which really goes to support my long-standing thing that Ul'dah is a terrible place and no one should go there. But yes, that is the story of the 80 steps of Sasamo.
Wow.
Or the 80 sins.
You're not wrong. That's a bad.
Yeah. Ah. I haven't gotten to do that in ages. That was fun.
Yay. Story time with Seyrr.
Yeah. I hope you all enjoyed it.
No, I'm glad that the picture was able to be read.
Yeah. No, thank you for that, Klauss. I actually did not have my copy with me, so Klauss was kind enough to get a picture of the page back over to me. But yes, this is something that comes up a lot in a lot of the loremonger discussions on a lot of other things as well. We tend to have this reliance that, oh, hey, if we're told this thing, it must be coming from some kind of omniscient source. That if it says in game, oh, this person is the reason for this, or this thing came from that. And it is something that they make a lot of use of, that unreliable narrators, not being able to, it's not necessarily that people are even out to get us, but just that information may be passed around between suspect sources. People may not have the full story. They very purposefully have it arranged such that we can't always be sure we're getting the complete story, in part because that was the way that a lot of these real situations work. And as we've seen, they really want to try to strike that note of realism, which includes a lot of never being quite sure about some of these things.
As they always say, the history is written by the victors.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
And one of the big points there is that Sasadi's court, like, Sasadi was the one who was left alive at the end. She was the one who was in a position to make adjustments as necessary. That story of the small folk carrying Sasamo up and down, really beautiful, kind of heroic, shows how loved she was. But maybe you don't want to remind the people just how loved this person was.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Thank you again. That was very nicely done. Like I said, it's one of those things. I think we've been asking about that since we saw that area was called the 80 Sins. So,
and there's lots of places all like that with all sorts of intriguing names. The big thing we've learned is if you do keep asking them about it, even if they didn't have a full story planned out at the time, they'll fill in those details. Storytellers respond to what the audience is asking for. You ask for that story, they'll respond.
Well, a lot of times they do have seeds in something, right? So there was half of that somewhere.
Right. Like, they may have some of the elements, but not necessarily the full narrative constructed. And once they hear, hey, this is the part of the story that people want, they can go back to that and figure out, okay, what are the blanks to fill in?
All right, and if you guys
it's good storytelling technique, lots of fun.
If you guys want to hear something else out of the new lore book, or just something expounded upon by our resident librarian, make sure to let us know. Podcast at phoenixdownradio.com via email, or you can hit us up directly on Twitter at phxdnradio, or Seyrr is at FFXIV SEYRR. So he does respond to those things.
Yeah. I am also in several Discord channels, the Phoenix Down Radio one. I hang out at Gamer Escape and Crucible ones. Just start asking questions. The library desk tends to get a little bit slow, and I'm happy to pop in if I've got a breather.
So
Klauss.
Yeah.
Do you have a random generator for the chat?
Oh, do we want to just... Oh, I can just set up a giveaway.
Yes.
Let me do that, because while we're doing the comments and shout outs, we should do a giveaway that you have been so
yes, I have a
talking about
60-day time card. I think it's 60-day time card. I don't know exactly. To give away to, it's a North American code, so you got to make sure you have a North American account. So yeah,
Crazy Chille's at it again.
So if you have an NA account for Final Fantasy XIV, by all means,
that means you've purchased the NA version.
Yep. Go ahead and type in ! Pick me into the chat, and you'll be entered to win a 60-day time card. So you have 2 months of subscription time for Final Fantasy XIV. We'll keep that open until the end of the show. So right now, let's go ahead and talk about some emails and comments. I want to especially shout out right now Mars Angel, who listens to a lot of podcasts at work and home. She tweeted at She Heals I Tank, at Phoenix Down Radio, at Carve Podcast, at Speakers XIV, at Work to Game, at Maelstrom Radium, and more. And showed a couple of pictures of all the podcasts that they listen to, and it is extensive.
Dang.
I don't know if you guys...
I'll be honest, I was pointing at thinking, it's like bingo for me.
Yeah, which ones haven't Chille been on? He's been on Aetherite Radio. He's been on... we weren't a full guest on LBR, but...
I mean...
But you were on
I'll
She
take
Heals I
it.
Tank, Maelstrom
I'll
Radio.
take being... No, to be fair, I'll take it being the full guest, because I know it's only the last 10 minutes, but technically I was still...
Yeah, I guess.
Oh, us too then, Yelta. Yay.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I mean, I've been on the phone calls a few times as well, so that's, I'll add the minutes up together.
Yeah, it's nice. It is nice to know that there are people who are so enthusiastic about a lot of the work that the content creators are doing. It's nice to... We love you, and we love that you love us. Like, This is what makes it worthwhile. If it weren't for the people who are interested in it, I would just be reading random books about this and putting together theories, and I wouldn't be doing these segments. I wouldn't be telling you story times. It's knowing that you guys like hearing this that makes it all worthwhile.
So yeah, I mean, that's really cool that you guys are really into all the different podcasts, and that you can get something different from each one of us. I mean, that's something that we were talking about quite a bit after I was on your guys' show, Ruby and Yelta, that we're all just a little bit different. And it's
definitely something for everything. And if you don't like one show, watch another. If you like Mini, watch Mini.
Yeah, like I said, one person might have one theory on what something is, where another person might have a different one, and it's kind of interesting. Like I said, especially when we're in the whole content drought, and we're kind of speculating on what's coming up next. Hearing some of the different theories coming out from the different shows is just a lot of fun.
For sure. Absolutely, for sure.
So thank you for posting that, Mars Angel. I also want to shout out everybody who gave all the lovely birthday wishes today. So thank you very much to everybody who wished me happy birthday.
Yeah, happy Arkmorn Day.
Yeah. And,
Good Arkmorn to you.
Actually, Nick Nar sent me a game on Steam.
Ooh.
Oh, what's that?
Ruby's favorite game, Final Fantasy XIII.
Oh, yay.
That was a way.
After we'd made like some sort of fan mod with
13.2 is
Agmon.
not bad. 13.2 is really not that bad.
I like
13.2 is the best.
That's my favorite of them
13.
actually. But his message.
It's
in
like
there
Chrono
was-
Trigger Pokemon.
His message in it was Happy Ockmorn.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
And of course I had to tweet that out and I go, Happy Ockmorn to me indeed. And Ockmorn was like, ha ha ha, what? It was funny.
I'm amazed she still tolerates any of us.
Oh, I'm not sure she's in love with it, but I think she tolerates it because we get.
I think she enjoys it, if I'm honest, because like a fan fest where people ran up to her and kept giving her cards.
And somebody gave her a cake.
Yeah. 2 people gave her cakes, if I'm rightly.
I mean, many sins can be forgiven if you are given a cake.
Yeah.
Perhaps even 80 sins.
88.
So yeah. At this point, I actually want to.
Thanks, Native.
Yeah, and Intuitive says something very nice in the chat. Gather Together is awesome. I listened to them when I first started this game and couldn't stop listening, just like with Moogle Go Round and Phoenix Down Radio. I most definitely recommend them, especially the Shoot the Shit segment.
We're actually very proud of our Shoot the Shit segment because so many people, even the weeks we don't play, I think we're honest why we don't play. And I think I'm hoping anyway our listeners listen and understand that they celebrate with us when we do something cool, and they understand when we don't do anything that week because there's not that much going on. So I really like when people also send us messages about what they did that week because that's important. I want to know what people are doing.
Yeah, it might be something that you don't think of in the game because it's not something that interests you. But if somebody else says, "Hey, you know what? I've been playing Rival Wings and really been enjoying it." I know you guys have said you really never touched that version of PvP.
That's right.
And that was one thing I really enjoyed right away when it came out because you got to play in the mechs. You were on Brute Justice and the.
If you do like Rival Wings, make sure you check out the Reddit thread because I think it's every weekend they do like a gather to try and get many people on the different servers to actually run it.
Yep, they are.
Well, that'd be the only time.
Yeah,
I could do it, I guess, because I can never get Qs to pop. But yeah.
Well, that's very important because there are still very, very many active Discord chats and other things that are like doing old content, and they might do it once or twice a week, but they fill their groups and they do that old content. So
I see people posting for minimum eye level runs of the foil.
Well, and I think our Let's Shoot the Shit segment is kind of like the Five Guys analogy, except it took us 148 episodes to kind of get that together. It's basically that we have a variety of different interests, and some weeks, like Yelta was talking about, we're interested in other things. There were times I was playing Smash Brothers or Dragon Quest or other things. Yelta was playing Minecraft or Ark, and it's kind of nice to be able to talk about the other stuff that we do because I think for our listeners, they don't feel so bad like they have to play. Like even the podcasters don't have to play every second of every day because if we do, we're going to burn out and it's just not going to be enjoyable for us. And sometimes it's nice to go off and eat something else and then come back hungry for 14 again. And then we feel good about it. And then on the other side is we don't always do things that everybody else is doing. We may be doing... I almost got into the diadem last night. Yelta, you're not going to believe this. I almost went into the diadem to help people, but the queue wouldn't pop for something and people bolted. And I was going to be excited about actually saying I went into the diadem on our next episode.
Well,
it didn't happen. But
even within game, you might do triple triad all week, and I might do work on my relic and Eureka. And
exactly.
I can't remember the last time I did a triple triad tournament. I kind of want to do one of those.
You should.
Sign up. You don't even have to do it. But if you
don't have to do it with real people. Just play the
you
NPCs.
You don't have to do it at all. You still get 1,000 gil. So or MGP, I guess. But even if your love isn't everyone else's love, it's still part of the game or outside of the game, and go do it and enjoy.
Some people go to the amusement parks just to eat. Legit.
That's true.
I know people who go to the Minnesota State Fair just to eat stuff on a stick. So
that's true.
Don't forget fried butter. I'm still not sure whether I'm overjoyed or horrified by
See
that.
your cardiologist.
Why not both?
Yeah,
What about deep fried curly whirlies?
What's a curly?
What is a curly whirly?
That's a cheese curly thing, right?
No, curly whirly is a chocolate bar filled with like a toffee.
Oh no! See, we have like deep fried Snicker bars.
Yeah.
Which is like a
Same
bar.
idea, yeah.
Yeah.
This is, but this is like a it's called a curly whirly because it's really thin, and it makes like a pattern of curls.
Yeah.
Intriguing.
All right.
Very cool.
Now, Ruby and Yelta, I don't have a questionnaire to ask you guys. Like you asked me.
We sprung that up on you last week.
That was brand new for us anyway. Thank you for participating.
Blame Ruby, but that's awesome.
I thought about putting something together like that, but I didn't want to take that from you. But what I do want to do is I want to open the floor for you guys to go ahead and tell our listeners about what you guys do and where they can find you.
I get drunk and talk shit for an hour a week, so I'll let Ruby.
Oh,
I feel like that's an advertisement right there.
That actually is the point of our show.
That's not wrong.
That's the soul of our show, if you would. Yeah. So the gist is, Yelta and I shoot the shit. We talk about the news. We talk about what we've done in the game, and we talk about opinions and different things that are just happening in the community. We like to have guests. We had Klauss on, and we hope to have more in the near future and more contests. We currently have a contest going on. So if you want to follow us, you can follow us on Twitter, and it's at GTFFXIV. And if you follow us on Twitter, we have a contest. We are giving away the SDS Fenrir mount. And all you have to do is follow us on Twitter and then send us a tweet with the hashtag MyStarlightWish, all one word, and that will enter you in the contest. We're going to draw on that the morning of December 25th. So for Christmas, we're going to be giving that away. So be sure to follow us and tweet us with that hashtag, and we'll be giving that away. You can also give us an email. That's at gtffxiv@gmail.com. You can find our podcast anywhere. Really, we're on Stitcher, we're on iTunes, and the name of it is Gathered Together. And you can go, of course, to our website, and that's at gtffxiv.com. We'll be happy to have you. We love what we do. We've always said, if this isn't fun for us anymore, we quit. And for some reason, for the last 3 years, it's been fun. I continue to have fun podcasting with Yelta. I hope she feels the same way. Mm-hmm. We have similar personalities, but we have differences on opinion, and I think that makes it work for us. Mm-hmm. So come listen. That's my spiel. Yelta, what do you want to add on to that?
I don't know. If you want to talk to me, come to Twitter. Yelta Sumasu, YELTASUMASU. Otherwise, listen to the show if you want. Love it or hate it, it's okay.
Yeah, at least tell us if you hate it. Tell us why. If you love it, tell us why. Tell us something. Don't let the Russian bots just tell us.
and if you're on Primal,
I love it because you guys are cool.
Very soon we can all play together.
That'll be fun.
What was that, Chille?
I love it because you guys are cool.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. That
also, you should enter my competition.
Oh.
Remember?
He's telling you to type in pick me in the chat so you guys have a chance to win the time card too.
But we don't want to take away from other people.
I don't generally
hardcore listeners to Phoenix Down Radio. I think that would be a takeaway.
Oh, we have one entry, so.
Well, looks like you have a winner.
Though Intuitive definitely would be a worthy winner as well. So.
Yeah.
Definitely an avid listener, and we appreciate all of our listeners. So, but Ruby,
well, and thank you, Intuitive, for shouting us out in the chat there. Thank you for listening to our show as well.
And Ruby and Yelta, thank you so much for joining us on this holiday edition of Phoenix Down Radio.
Happy birthday, Klauss!
Happy birthday!
Happy Archmon!
And this actually is.
She's gonna murder one of these days.
She called me a good boy, by the way, when she picked my name for the dog. She said, "Good boy." Oh. She's denying it, but she said it. She looked right at the camera and said, "Good boy."
But this is actually also the last episode of 2018 for Phoenix Down Radio. But we will.
Goodbye. It's fine. 2018 was a cluster fork.
You're not wrong. But
we can get rid of it and get another one with an untwistable stomach.
The next episode is going to be actually in 3 weeks. It'll be January. What is that going to be? Dang it! I had it up and then I lost it. 12th.
The 12th?
Yes. So the next episode will episode 6 is going to be January 12th instead of the 5th. We're taking an extra week off, so it we got to fix my schedule a little bit with work. Otherwise, I'd be having on calls every time we'd have a podcast, so it'd be kind of sucky. That's not good.
Don't believe him. He's just going to be that drunk from New Year's.
I'm just going to be sat here on January on the what's
party
going
with me.
I have to work on New Year's, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's why he's going to be drunk.
I'm just going to be sat here January 5th talking to myself because I'm used to being on the podcast.
Well, who knows?
We are going to see each other at Distant Worlds, though.
That is
so that's
true.
Good.
Yep.
Well, yeah.
So anybody in the Minnesota area, March 1st is Distant Worlds at the Ordway Theater. There are tickets still available. You can go out to ffdistantworlds.com, I believe, and you can get links to the tickets there. Anything else that you guys wanted to throw out?
I don't feel like throwing up, but I haven't had enough drinks yet.
I said throw
I'm
out.
kidding.
It's all good. If you like podcasts, come try ours. That's all.
I don't know if we're recording next week. That would be the only thing. We're probably going to steal this recording here and throw a link to the Twitch stream up on the website. So we'll have the Phoenix Down Radio this link up on our site for next week. So we can get Christmas break off, but we probably will record for New Year's, I would imagine, Yelta. We'll figure it out.
I'm out New Year's.
Okay, well, we may not have an episode for 3 weeks. Who knows? We'll figure something out.
We'll figure it out.
All right.
By Becca Shura, you should enter the competition by typing #PickMe.
Okay.
Well, not hashtag. I mean, words are hard at 5 a.m.
Exclamation! Pick
Oh
me.
my God, Chille! What is it really 5 a.m. there? Because Jesus.
Yes.
I keep trying to have a talk with him about sleep schedules, and it keeps going nowhere.
I couldn't talk to him about that because I do not handle sleeping well as an adult.
Yeah.
I don't adult well.
Who does?
Oh right.
Find them. Find them. They are a liar.
They are liars and lie.
Yes. No one's actually handling it well. Everyone who says it does.
6 a.m. You must be in like another part of Europe.
All right. So
welcome,
guys,
my European friend.
Then that is going to do it for this episode. If you like what you heard, please make sure to like, subscribe, or follow us on iTunes, Google Play Music, Podbean, or whatever your preferred podcatcher is. And if possible, leave us a rating or review. It really does help people find our show and helps us to grow the community. If you really dig the show, please consider subscribing here at Twitch. If you're listening to us on the podcast, that's twitch.tv/PhoenixDownRadio. If you have a Amazon Prime subscription, you actually do get one free Twitch subscription that you can use every month. And make sure that you use that on your favorite streamer so it doesn't go to waste. You can also support us out on Patreon at patreon.com/PhoenixDownRadio. Any proceeds that we get go towards growing the show and covers a lot of the behind-the-scenes costs, as well as allows us to do some of the fun giveaways. But whatever type of support you give us, any support is always appreciated, whether it's an email, a like, a tweet, or a retweet. It's always greatly appreciated because we love interacting with you guys. You can find all of our episodes and the back catalog of our show at phoenixdownradio.com, as well as a few other interesting articles that we sometimes post when we kind of have the time to write them or put them up. Speaking of which, Seyrr, we should get another lore article from you sometime. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah. I'm kind of feeling those creative juices flowing lately.
Cool.
Also, for people who want a subject to podcast us about in the Discord, I've had a couple people suggest trying to figure out what we can about Blue Mage just from its costume design. Those little core things on the shoulder, they have a name. They have a meaning. Let's overanalyze it together.
Yes.
Good times.
If you have ideas on that, email it, podcast@phoenixdownradio.com. Or you can shoot it to us at Twitter at PHXDNRadio. Let's go ahead and do some shout outs. Let's start with our lovely guests, Ruby and Yelta. Do you have any other shout outs or ways that they can find you?
Yeah, you can find me personally on Twitter at Rubicon Vale, RubiconVale. And just to drill it into the ground, you can find our website for Gather Together, www, you have to put the www, www.gtffxiv.com. Twitter is GTFFXIV, and Gmail us at gtffxiv@gmail.com. Yelta?
Yeah, just follow me at Twitter at Yelta Sumasu, YELTASUMASU.
Any shout outs you want to throw out as well?
You guys, because you're awesome. There's awesome.
I have no other loves than you right now. So.
You're all we think about, Klauss.
Somehow I kind of thought that, but
in bed at night, twirling my hair around a finger and thinking of you.
Oh my God, guys.
All right, Chille.
Okay, go check them out at gathertogether.gttf.com, twitch.tv/gathertogether. Also go check out Musicast.xv, twitch.tv/music. Also check out Maelstrom Radio, twitch.tv/Maelstrom, or www.maelstromradio.com. Also check out She Hills Attack, twitch.tv/She Hills Attack. Remember, they've got a merch line, so you can go check out their merch. You can find the link on their website or on their Twitter. I think they're adding it to their website, www.shehillsattack.com. Also, go check out my podcast, PlayStation Unchained@psc.podbean.com. Also, go check out Moogle Around Radio at twitch.tv/Moogle Around Radio. We've now got a sub button and an emote, so you can go check that out if you want to sub.
Oh my God, are you sure you're not about to asphyxiate?
I think he is. He always forgets that he has all the time he wants because this is one of his shows. He doesn't have to like.
But how else is he going to slip the hidden terms and conditions in
there? And also, Chille, when you get time, if you want to send that code to Intuitive.
Yeah.
Seyrr.
Seyrr.
All right, so let's see. Shout out to the wonderful people in my social link shell El Forto who gave me encouragement when I actually finally decided to do some Eureka challenge logs, and explain. Shout out to, God, I never know how to pronounce your name. Sian, one of the loremonger folks who has done a lot of work on Eureka and explained a lot of the mechanics, which I still hadn't managed to pick up by now. So it was very nice to finally understand what I was doing in Eureka. A shout out to all the wonderful people listening here who make me feel encouraged to actually go and learn stuff and put together cool stories and just generally stick with this. And also shout out to my parents for actually letting me handle Christmas dinner and not blinking too much when I was like, I want that $40 prime rib roast, please. Yeah, Dad is very happy about the upcoming prime rib.
I would be too.
Oh man, gonna get the good sear on it. Gonna do a nice residual heat thing in the oven, so we're gonna bring it up nice and gentle. It's gonna be beautiful. I have been told that I need to post many pictures.
Yes. Hashtag food porn.
It sounds delicious.
I do have that one picture I took of when I started the dry aging. I guess I could put that up on the Twitter.
All right, and I want to shout out to everybody who's, again, wished me the birthday wishes today. Shout out to Nick Nar and Kane for being amazing people. Shout out to Ruby and Yelta for joining us. Thank you so much. Always have a pleasure talking with you guys. It's a wonderful time.
Thank you.
Shout out to everybody watching us live here at twitch.tv/PhoenixDownRadio and out on the podcast, whether it's iTunes, Stitcher, or from the website, PhoenixDownRadio.com. You know, got to get those shameless plugs out there. For our guests, Ruby and Yelta, and for our hosts, Chille and Seyrr, I am Klauss Nightbringer, wishing everybody a wonderful evening. Thanks for joining us. Take care.
Phoenix Down Radio is a production of PhoenixDownRadio.com and Illusion Productions. Final Fantasy XIV and Eorzea are trademarks of Square Enix. In-game content for Phoenix Down Radio is the copyright of Square Enix. Opening music for Phoenix Down Radio is provided by Guilty Gear Rock You. Check out the Metal Chocobo theme cover and many other music videos at youtube.com/Guilty Gear Rock You. Closing music for this episode is provided by Guitar Wanker 90. Please check out their full version of Matoya's Cave and other rock video game covers at youtube.com/GuitarWanker90. The views and opinions expressed in this episode are those of Phoenix Down Radio and its hosts and do not reflect the views of Square Enix.